Oh my
We're
gosh, we are live! I promised that it wouldn't be another month before we played again, and yet here we are a month later finally playing again. I'm sorry! But honestly, it was just scheduling, and then holidays, and then I was on call, and that you just always throws a monkey wrench into things. And lo and behold, we are back. Finally.
That's
It's
me.
after the holidays. So I hope everyone had a great Christmas. I hope everyone had a great New Year's. It's finally in 2020 part 2. I mean, 2022. Oh, I think we get to resume the World War III arc this year. Because that had paused. Then we hit the global pandemic arc, and now that's still in full swing, but it's been going on long enough that we might as well add back the World War III story arc that was going on. But anyway, oh my gosh, Pen's here. Let's do this real quick. Let's click that button, and we're gonna go here. Oh, it's gonna look a little funky, but hit 1, 2. Hit. Are we doing this? Getting in here? Oh, there we go. She made it. She made it. Yes. Where was I? World War III. Yes. We are here in 2022. Trying to think of any crazy highlights of the year. We started this fantastic campaign. We are in session 3. Excited to get that rolling. That's right. The very last stream of the season was back in
Of
on
season one.
the 21st of December? No, that was while I was gone. So it was the 14th. On the 14th of December, we hit our goal for Thankmas. We did the Thankmas charity. Team goal was like $200, and we blew right past it. So that was pretty awesome. Thank you guys all who partook and donated. We raised a total of like $540 out of our $200 goal. So we kind of nailed it. Yeah. So there's that. I'm gonna say a lot because it's been a little bit since I've even streamed, and my brain is not in stream mode. Let's see. No, that really covers it since last time. It was Christmas and it was New Year's, and now we're all finally back together and here to play some Dungeons and Dragons. So, where we last left off. Last session, the party finally had met up together into the same locale at the same time at the base of a burning building that was ready to collapse on them, while they watched Pen suspiciously nudge around with some of the entities that were lying on the ground. They managed to narrowly get away from the burning structure that was throwing lots of burning shrapnel, wood, and stone, and other hot construction materials just kind of raining down upon them. Uh, no one got too hurt. Just a couple people got a little toasty. They made it back to the Bloody Inn, or not the Bloody Inn, the Bloody Shield Inn, and there they saw that they had been set up as a triage center. They facilitated some of the healing processes going on many of the locals who had been wounded in the fires. The next day, after some much-needed R&R and a ridiculously long bath for a very tiny individual, the party gathered their equipment and set back out to figure out what on earth had happened. And they made their way back towards the base of the burning buildings and saw that the guards had begun to do their investigation. And that's really where we left off. So, all of you, I believe Rin had spent the last effort trying to get as close as he could to listen in and see what the guards were talking about and what the guards were trying to figure out. And unfortunately, all you heard was, "Hey, what have you figured out?"
That was all I heard was, hey.
No, literally, "Hey, what have you figured out?" As the guard with slightly more, golden chains and some extra plumage, one who seemed to be a little bit haughty-taughty above the rest in terms of, decoration. was asking some of the other guards and kind of poking in and trying to figure out what all is going on.
Yeah, I'm still listening. I also want to know what's going on, what the guards figured out.
Okay, well, yeah, that's what you were listening in for. So as unfortunately they kind of just murmur. The guards are kind of just shrugging and kind of gesturing at some of the different burn marks, and you can hear like murmurs of acknowledgement, not so much approval or disapproval. And then the plumed guard kind of turns and starts walking away. And the other ones kind of return to what they were doing and crouching down and looking at the rubble at the base of the structure, and other ones looking, trying to examine and scratch at the grout, some of the pieces of stone.
CSI guard horror.
Can I go look at the can I go over where the guards are looking at the base of the tower and just kind of see see if I can find and where the flames might have ignited, like if it was an explosion or if it was something like actually like inside the tower, or if it was something where someone might have somehow set the stone on the outside on fire.
Okay. As you approach, some of the guards kind of look at you funny. Like, you see that they're mostly orc, half orc, occasional couple other hobgoblins, but they all just kind of look at you, not in any sort of formal military style garb as you approach. And you get within about 10 feet of the side of the structure before you're kind of stopped. Like, whoa. What are you doing here? This is under investigation. What is going on?
Well, I would imagine that I'm investigating if I'm walking over here. Can I help you?
It is more of a question, how can we help you? We need to be keep people safe, keep people away from structure. This not stable situation.
Oh no, you definitely can't help me, but thank you for asking. And I'm just gonna try and like walk right by him.
And he just immediately gets in your way and just kind of like, this is not safe for civilian.
I see the guard step in front of him, and I'm gonna shout out, "Oh, Clore! Thank you so much for preparing the way. Excuse me, please. I'm here to investigate this stonework. I'm part of the Masons Guild. My name is Aberford Ravingham, and I'm here to make sure that the stone was up to code. There's an insurance claim coming through, and we need to make sure that the explosion was an accident, not any kind of arson."
Roll a deception check. Son of a gun.
Oh,
That's why you hired
13. It's a 13.
Oh, I did not realize that Mason Guild was sending individual this early into investigation. So please, is the rest of them with you?
Yes, we are. All of my investigators are here with me, and I gesture to, I guess, if anyone was following me, the people behind me that are just kind of standing there. They're here as more of a supervisory capacity. They might not be as hands on, but me and this gentleman here, and I gesture to Clore, are we're just gonna work our way through this rubble. Make note of these scorch patterns. You notice that they're coming off at a 30-degree angle from the source of the explosion, and I just kind of
he just kind of like his eyes looking down at you just kind of start to glaze over, like, yes, please, this way, and
yeah.
kind of goes to one of their guards and he's like, from Mason's Guild, he's here to check out things. And the guard's like, oh, okay, and they both kind of like give you guys some space, and the guard, the one that was more captain-like, just kind of looks over at all of you guys, but the other two guards are like, no, it's good, and he's like, all right,
So
you are
I'm
now
looking
all
specifically
up
for
against the wall.
a ignition point. Like I'm not looking for anything else other than like the origin of this explosion slash fire slash wherever it may be, and like how it might have started.
Give me an investigation check.
I'd just like to know, while this investigation check is going on, that Theo is kind of giving Renningham a little bit of a look, kind of like, all right, something odd happened here. I'm not going to complain about it right now, but I'm definitely going to bring this up later. While he's just following along quietly with his shovel in his work clothes, ready to go.
I got
So,
a 9.
Clore, as you kind of sort of go along the base in this, stretch of the side of the building, excuse me, you just kind of, it just looks burnt. It's clear that this was an unnaturally hot fire. There's sections of stone where if you compare it to the other things around you, what they are as rough-hewn, this is burned so hot that a lot of the rough edges have smoothed out. It like naturally kind of just softened the edges. It was that hot on the stonework. However,
I
and
know
this
it's only a 9.
I know. It's only a 9 worth of information. However, as to an
9.
ignition point, oh gosh, no, we are not. We're not still. That is unfortunately trademarked. We have to be careful about how we go with that. One might say this 9 is mighty. And so you you unfortunately don't find, at least on this particular swath of the building, any obvious point of ignition.
I'll just look over my shoulder. Master Rin, it was too hot over here. There's nothing left.
I say, yeah, that was to be expected. Judging by the distance that some of these stones were thrown, it was quite a stone's throw. And I kind of walk past him, and alongside, I mean, it was a tower, right? That was completely destroyed. Um, was there like I guess all the wood flooring of the tower was burned away? Is there any like stairs down? Like, is there some kind of an underground capacity to this tower?
You haven't been inside yet to see kind of what's left of that particular element. You know from having been in these buildings before that the ground floor was predominantly made of stonework, but floors as you went up were lighter, so they're made of wood.
Okay.
You can see in the fallen section the bottom of some of the burned out floors, but nothing. You haven't gone inside this section.
Okay. Is there a opening that I can kind of work my way in?
As you make your way around, towards the section that where the tower actually fell was on the front, and so they've slowly begun to clear out a way, and it's a narrow path about like 3 feet wide where you're kind of going between rubble and jagged sections of fallen structure, and there appears to be guards moving in and out, and as they do, you notice that they've been slowly collecting a pile of bodies from the inside of the structure.
Can I walk up to the first guard that tried to stop me, now that he knows who he thinks we are, and say, "Oh, sir, sorry, the master wants me to get a statement. Were you in the area when this first happened, or did you just come to help clean up?"
No, I work in not part of district. I was not part of this when it happened. All guards are on duty now down here to try to clean up situation.
And have you talked to anybody who was here yesterday, or?
It's hard to talk to the dead.
Okay, I meant the guards, but thank you for your time.
And he just kind of goes back to his, just kind of walks off and starts talking to one of the other guards and starts moving some rubble and stuff around. They're trying to clear this place out, seeing as it's at center.
So before he gets to like helping with the investigation, Theo has a question for the fancy guard.
Oh, the fancy guard.
Possible.
All right.
Yes.
Nice.
He's gonna kind of politely wait to approach and catch the guy's attention. So he's just gonna like awkwardly sitting there, and kind of leaning on a shovel, like waiting for the guy to pay attention to him.
What can I do for you?
Sorry to disturb you, sir. I had a question. The other day, I happened to be in the area when this was happening. There was a little girl in kind of a bad state, and I handed her off to a couple guards. I was just wondering if maybe you knew anything about that, whether or not she was okay.
All the wounded were taken to the closest triage site that was not over capacity. So I'm sure she was taken to one of those. We don't exactly have ledgers at this time to tell you the dead versus the wounded versus those who were in
I
the
know
area
that
were still.
she was mostly physically fine. She looked like just really shaken up. I just wanted to
Well,
double
there's a good
check and
chance
see
that
if
she made
anyone
it
knew
home
anything
then.
about her. Well, good. I'm glad. All right. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Just need to know what had happened. And then he's gonna like turn around and kind of speed his way back off to the group, feeling a little bit lighter and happier now that he knows in general happened.
Guard just kind of shrugs and goes back to, investigating, cleaning. Like he's amongst the other guards, they're all trying to, looks like they're all trying to go through the different materials and try to, they're looking at some of the rocks that are darker than the others and trying to piece together what all happened.
And as Theo joins the group, he's going to say, so it looks like everyone that was here was taken to the nearest triage center. Don't really know all who was there, but I bet if we were to figure out what that was, we'd be able to follow up and find some folks who were here maybe closer to the initial time of, well, this that happened to live through it. Now, Rin, do you need me to do any sort of heavy lifting or anything? I mean, I'd be very careful here. I don't know much about structures that are burnt down or anything, but I do have my shovel and my work clothes on, so I'm happy to help in any way, shape, or form needed, little buddy.
Well, it seems as though most of the rocks still need to be cleared from the inside of the structure. The wall, as you can see, it has fallen away. There needs to be some more clearing out in the middle so we can investigate the interior stones. Some of those were blown through the exterior stonework by the explosion, and as I'm saying this, I'm walking closer to where they're kind of like pulling stuff out of the front, where there's an opening to the inside of the tower. And I pass by the bodies and I go, that's not my purview, pen. And I kind of gesture to a pen and say, I believe this. You can help identify some of these bodies. They seem to be pretty badly burnt, but I know that you have your ways of making sure that these bodies get identified and returned to the proper, to their families, really. And I want to try to move into the tower and do an investigation in there to see what's inside this tower left over from the explosion.
Give me a performance check.
That's an 18, Bob.
So as you're going about and talking about this, the guards kind of just hear you describe different elements of the structure as you're kind of going along, and they start to just kind of give you and the rest of the party berth, as to them you seem to be just an expert on what has taken place in here. Between the two guards going like, oh, I guess this guy's from the Masons Guild, and now you're just talking with like, oh, well, it looks like these stones blew out from the inside, and they're all just like, oh god, this guy, let's if he needs workspace, we're gonna make clear. And so as you're entering into the area, like people who are moving materials and bodies, they actually like move out of the way and stop as you kind of walk in, and gives the rest of the party some berth.
Hey, does anyone know who owns this building?
I thought it was public property.
I feel like we might want to find that out. Excuse me, can you grab the head guard for a statement, please? Master Abernathy would really like to have a statement from everybody who's been operating in this area.
Well, yeah,
The Masons Guild, this guy right here, the one that's been
yeah,
doing your job for you.
Right away. And he just kind of runs off, and he had a couple rocks in his hand, and as he does, like as soon as he's at the entrance, he just kind of tosses them on the side and just goes off. He hasn't come back yet.
Now, I'm going to assume that during the course of this investigation, we're examining burn patterns and looking for the epicenter and checking to make sure that it's magical fire as opposed to chemical.
That is stuff that you had discussed last time, yes?
Okay, cool. Just checking, just clarifying, making sure that I got my duck in a row, because I've only got one duck.
Quack.
Don't worry, I have the egg.
I handed you a pile of bodies on a stone burned platter.
They're burned. I can't. They're burned.
I don't know what you were looking for.
Unburned.
So dead but unburned.
Not as tasty if you don't cook it yourself.
I was
It's just too crispy.
I was
Too
stumbling
brittle.
towards that joke, but
And I decided to just
I was
run
gonna be the one to
forward and
make it.
embraced it.
I was kind of looking for something, or there's striation on the end of these bones. It looks like, well, anyway.
And as you guys just kind of stare at this pile of bodies, like the guards that were moving stuff onto it, they kind of just stop and put the one that they have down kind of next to the pile and just kind of skirt around you. And you realize you guys are now the only ones in at least this burned out foyer area.
DM, I know the bodies are all dead and charred. Are there any of them that maybe look a little bit out of place, like in terms of what remains on them, than the others?
Are they all charred beyond a reasonable suspicion of or you can tell they're like a human-esque figure, but other than that it's a shadow, or are they like still fleshy in some parts?
So, give me an investigation check.
Who?
We'll go with Penn as the resident cadaver expert.
Okay.
Ouch. It's dark in here, of course.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot of light. You guys are trying to go through everything.
Ignoring that I have dark vision.
Well, in dark
We
vision,
really
it's
only get the
still
light.
black and white for the most part. Like,
Yeah.
so it
You
really
can
doesn't help a
read
whole
out,
lot when
for
things
sure.
are as far as you can tell, burned to a crisp. You're realizing that in this pile of what was once probably people, there might even be some wood chunks in there that they're just like, oh, that's arm size. Let me just toss that on
Oh.
there.
Dark.
And so they it's not exactly the easiest thing to sift through. And if they decided later to try to like spread these out and identify them, they've probably caused themselves more frustrations by just making a pile of them as opposed to gingerly laying them all out.
Well, like whatever clothing they have, is there anyone out there that looks a little bit out of place in comparison?
Unfortunately not. There's just such a modge podge of what looks to be burned, tattered clothing. Some of them might have been a little bit finer. You even see some that were wearing like their metal armor is mostly intact. And so they were, cooked alive in their own uniforms.
Is there anything shiny in the vicinity?
In the entire vicinity?
Within sight.
Give me a perception check. There's a lot of soot and ash and dirt and there's occasionally, oh look, that's really shiny over there, and you head on over and it's it's like a door hinge that's still mounted to the stone. They rolled a 5. Everybody, she rolled a 5.
I would also like to do
That's right,
an
we're supposed to answer
investigation
rolls.
to see if there's anything still somewhat held together.
So you're looking for structure that's intact on the first floor?
Yeah, I'm looking for structure that's intact. I'm looking for just anything that's recognizable, that's not completely blown up, burnt, charred.
You're kind of looking. You yourself are a unique case in here. Give me. I guess the closest would be give me a history check.
Oh, that looked like a 19, but it's actually a 5. I used my 19.
We're doing great,
investigation.
everybody.
Oh yeah, coming in strong.
I'm sorry, all right? This is just the way these things roll. All puns intended. So as you kind of walk through and around, you're looking at what's left and you're trying to scratch back in your mind of like you used to walk these buildings and meet with people, but it's been a very long time. And so while the the square that all these towers are in is familiar to you, exactly what this building was and you know who it belonged to and who worked it kind of escapes you, and even the layout of this first floor in its current state just escapes you of like I most of these buildings went upstairs. I don't see where the staircase is. Some of these buildings had basements. I don't see where those stairs are. And between that and just the piles of rubble, it's kind of hard to make out where anything might be, anything recognizable.
Has anyone come back inside yet? Or are we still alone?
You're still alone.
Um, where did everybody go? This place was crawling with people like dragging bodies out and picking up rocks, and everybody just left.
Presumably,
I
they're
wanted
letting
to
us
stay out of your
investigate.
way to investigate.
Yeah.
Well, he's supposed to be getting the head guard for questioning. And I'm going to walk to the front door or whatever hole we walked through.
The front hole.
And
Yeah, the
as
front
you know,
hole.
as you look out, you know there's guards in other spots, like they're trying to clear other sections of structure, moving stuff away, and you know they're out of the fallen section. They've cracked open one of the windows, and now it's kind of walkable, and they're pulling less charred people out of that section of the building, slowly trying to clear it out.
So Theo, while this is going on, is going to turn to Bob. And he's going to say, "Wow, this sure is a mess, ain't it, pal?"
It is. I'm curious. I'd like to see a list of the casualties. Make sure that everybody that was injured or reached their demise was actually supposed to be here. I mean, there's so far, aside from this explosion, there doesn't seem to be anything that jumps out as being anomalous.
Right? I'm not quite sure what the last word means, but I assume it means weird.
Yeah, weird.
Probably means weird.
Weird.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
strange, peculiar.
I'm inclined to agree. I think, but that might take a while given the horrible amount of the dead here. I got a question though. I mean, you're good with like natural stuff, right?
Yeah, I can work with trees. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, the only thing that I've really ever seen on fire before is a barn, right? But I've got this question for you. You seem kind of learned.
It's an illusion.
The first building that collapsed, the bigger one. Do we think that maybe that's the one that caught fire first, or do you think they might have caught fire both at the same time? Any way that you can think of that we figure that out?
Well, we hadn't
Point of
really
order.
gotten. Yeah.
Only one building caught on fire. The other one fell into.
Got knocked over. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm still
Thank
kind
you for the clarification.
of curious about the scorch marks, because the structural part of this appears to be stone, which is pretty resistant to things like fire.
Yeah, I ain't never seen any rocks on fire before.
Yeah, and so which makes me think that there was some type of force pushing outward or inward, one direction or the other. I'm thinking outward, but we haven't gotten to a point where we can actually look at that and see where the source of all this energy came from. I'm reserving judgment till we get a chance to look at that and get a better feel for it.
Well, and Theo's gonna stretch a little bit and kind of adjust his grip on his shovel. He's gonna say, "Well, if getting there takes some heavy lifting, I can tell you right now, I've had a good night's rest, and I'm sure ready to do whatever is needed to get to that point."
So Theo spent the next 3 days trying to shovel their way through the rubble.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Alone, the guards stood by and watched. No.
They're doing our job. Look at these crazy people. They're cleaning it up all by themselves.
So I thought when you're talking about looking like for the source, or that's what we're investigating. Can I do like an Arcana check to see if there's any residual magic that's still
That's yeah. You could go for that.
Ah,
I'm so sorry.
It hovered on the 19 and then rolled over to the 1.
It was a hot friggin' fire. That's for sure. That much you know. For the record, this is as frustrating for me as it is for you.
I'm telling you, man. Can I actually tell from the scorch patterns where the explosion originated from? Because it's a pretty big tower. Is there like,
So,
I mean, it blew out, but can I follow it to where it started? Was it?
give me a
from
straight
a door?
intelligence check. Just give me a straight intelligence check.
I mean, it's just a D20.
Yep.
While he's doing that, can I send my little voice for some reconnaissance?
You can.
I'd like to send the little voice on reconnaissance.
Okay. That's okay. That's very doable.
I rolled a 15 on that intelligence check.
Okay, so for you, looking around inside, while you can't necessarily tell the source of the fire, it is very clear that it was burning hotter on the inside in where you're at than it was on the outside of the structure. The stone is darker, and the pieces that are still kind of there are much smoother than the ones on the outside.
And you already said that there's no basement to this. There's no stairs leading down. There's no
Not
trap
that
door
you've
that
not
was
that you've
exposed.
found.
I already did an investigation check for that?
It was more. You did more of like a. You
cursory
said you were
glance?
trying to remember. That's where the history one came into play. Of like, hey,
Gotcha.
where you're trying to remember, where would you even look? So
Okay.
Pen, your little voice wants to go on some reconnaissance.
Yes.
All right.
And the little voice is has been around a lot of rubble.
Oh, I am sure. Little voice has. So, little voice. Where doth ye roll? Where doth ye roam?
Just while no one's looking, I send the little voice out into the rubble.
All right, so this, you watch as your tiny little friend just starts to scamper. Due to their diminutive size, they are kind of slow. They're not as quick, to traverse along things. And luckily, they're not a terrible climber, so they can move through everything pretty quick. Where do you just kind of have them, take a few minutes and just kind of scope it all out, or do you send them in somewhere in particular? Just scope it all out.
Nowhere in particular, just anywhere.
Okay.
Just to pick up information that's useful to bring back.
All right. I forget.
Just
Do you
smart little
have
voice.
a link to them, or is it they have to kind of forget how that works? It's been a little bit. Let's see.
To be fair, I haven't used one of these in a very long time.
Let's see. They are Jimmy, you raising your hand?
no. That's
okay.
That is the.
Okay. Okay. I'm just trying to make sure.
It's the equivalent of shrugging my shoulders, as in I have no idea.
I don't think you're at the point yet where you can see through them.
I don't think so.
Okay. Then yes, your little friend, isn't gonna be able to tell you much until they come back.
Great.
All right.
Right,
So
well,
the little voice decides to scamper off.
And none of us see that, right?
Probably
Um,
not.
Pen,
Passive
give me
perception.
give me a sleight of hand check, Pen.
I can't. I got a full screen. Hold on. If you put D&D Beyond into a little window, guys, it like takes away a bunch of your stuff and how you click on it.
Yeah, it goes into mobile view, and you can still get to everything. It's just not right there.
It's
Not very
just
convenient.
a lot more work.
Sleight of hand.
13.
Let's see, Chlor, your passive perception. Yeah, you actually. Let's see, who does anyone have passive perception high enough?
I have a 14.
So, Bob and Theo, out of the corner of your eye, you watch as, Penn just kind of murmurs to themselves over by the pile of bodies, and you see this little tiny blur just kind of out from within the general vicinity of Penn, and just kind of start scurrying their way through the rubble and materials there. Penn, describe what they see with this little tiny fella.
What who sees? Theo and Bob?
Theo and Bob. Yep.
They see a small, furry, adorable, the cutest thing on the damn planet of brown with white stripes and little black lines running across their eyes with a cute little tiny tail that is like the size of a teacup, and adorable little paws with a twitchy nose, and just perfect little piercing beady eyes that might eat you in your sleep, but it'd be worth it because something that cute devoured you, and that's just worth dying for.
Is its name Stripe?
No.
Just checking.
No, let's not get into that. And the entire
Well-
town is taken over. Oh, yeah. Theo's gonna kind of like arch an eyebrow and kind of chuckle a little bit. He's absolutely delighted at what he just saw.
I'm just gonna be like, nature. You never know. Lots of surprises. I got to keep an eye on that one. Okay.
All right. And so Penn stands back up and comes back to where everyone's at. Chlor, you were looking
Well, We're not
outside.
gonna find anything in here. Let's go.
At,
Let's get out of here.
as you were walking out, Chlor, seeing as you're so keen on heading out, one of the more decorated guards kind of, hey, someone asked for a guard who may know things,
about
and I
time.
happen to know some things. What can I do for
Well-
you all? Mason's Guild, all of you. You don't look, whatever. What can I help you with?
Listen, I'm just here to interview. Can you just answer some questions and we'll just let you be on your way?
Sure. What can I do? Hey.
First question. What's your name and who are you in charge of?
Oh, my name. Well, this one is, he, if it wasn't for the tone of the skin, you would actually think that he was, like, half orc. He's got, all the right teeth, he's got all of the, the strong features, but his skin is a lot paler and his ears are slightly pointier. So when you'd expect a half orc, half human, this one appears to be half orc and possibly half elf. And well, I happen to be the guard overseeing, well, guard, detective, whatever. It's titles are just things around here, and everyone seems to be doing their part and working hard to solve what's going on here. But I just happen to be currently in charge of this entire investigation.
Perfect. Just who I was looking for.
Yes.
Can you please tell me everything pertaining to how this explosion happened that you
Well-
have figured out? Because we were having trouble determining the cause of this.
Well, that's the thing. When I heard that you all were going to be here, I was expecting you to be able to discern that for us, because you are all from the Masons Guild, and we have evidence of burning rock, and I'll be honest, considering my guards, as strong and brawny as they can be, not exactly the highest on the intellect scale most of the time. So, as far as they can tell, fire is fire, and it's just hot. And you being here was
Well-
supposed to give us some answers, as we are the ones in charge of this here investigation. In fact, I hadn't even
Here's-
heard that someone had sent you until one of the guards mentioned that you had arrived.
So here's the thing about masonry. We know a lot about brick and mortar, but we also know that it's not supposed to be on fire, just like you. So that doesn't really help anybody. So let's start easy. What building is this, and who owns it?
Roll me a deception check.
Okay. You, I love it. Tipped on the 16 and went right back to the 6.
Yay, we're off to a good start.
That's with a +5, guys. Like,
Hey, we're awesome.
The entire tone of this guard that you're talking to changes. I don't believe that anyone who would be of such, particularly high rapport or standard here would not know what building this is, considering you are from the Masons Guild who helped construct this building so many years ago and
I'm
are part
new.
of the
I am simply taking notes for my master over here. That's my only job. I actually am very new, and I was just trying to do a thorough
Well-
job. I apologize.
And I noticed this earlier.
Hang on one
but
second, master. Can you please come here? I don't know. I'm getting in
What?
trouble, and I'm just trying to do my job. I don't
I'm
really
getting
know.
in trouble.
He's-
What seems to be the problem? Have you figured out whose building this even is?
He won't tell me. He said we should know. I'm new. You should know. I don't really know.
Well, it depends. It depends. So as I'm walking over, the reason that we can't know just yet is that the shit. Okay. we don't know whose building this is because when it was built, Paulie Gunderson he was responsible for the quarrying of this stone. I believe this is all native limestone. But then whenever it changed hands back at what year is it? It's like 10 something.
Let me actually pull up my notes on that. It's because now things are being measured as post fall. So let's me.
Okay, that's fine. There's a fall, and then back before it was probably 30 or 40 years before the fall. This building was sold to Rex Gunderson, Paulie's brother, because Paulie was in a little bit of tax problems, and so he sold it to his brother to get out of tax issues.
And
let me finish, young man. And whenever he sold it, they had to do renovations, and I believe they were using substandard mortar. You can tell by the bowing.
So
of
at this point, the
in
guard just
between.
reaches down and just grabs you by the tunic and lifts you up. I need to see your identification. Promptly.
Okay, I'm going to walk away and say, okay, fine, let me grab it. And I'm going to say, hey, Theo, I need my identification. And as I walk, I'm going to, as quietly as possible, cast Create Bonfire and try and set the pile of bodies on fire.
At this point, Penn is standing at the entrance waiting for the little voice to come back and is just watching the chaos.
So Theo, hears you call her. He turns around, because he was kind of keeping an eye on things, trying to pay attention to see if he couldn't do anything. He's not the brightest, but he's trying his best. And he kind of tilts his head and he says, Clara, I don't got your paperwork. You're supposed to hold on to it yourself.
I'm just holding up a finger like this, out to him,
And the
trying to get
the
discreet.
guard just turns towards the entrance. I could use some assistance over here, and just
While
At
he's
this
turned, I
point-
want to cast it, so he doesn't see me. Can I do that?
Pen, I need you to roll me some percentile dice.
How do I roll percentile dice?
It's the D100s.
D100s.
Where's
Ooh,
the
fancy.
dice? Oh, dice button.
Yeah.
D100. Whoa. How do I? Okay.
Oh, okay. I just noticed that button too. Cool.
Do I click it and it'll do it? Or?
Click it and then click roll at the bottom.
Oh dear, I clicked 2. How many did you want me to do?
Re-roll it. You should be able to
Okay.
just click it the once and then click roll.
Okay. 85%.
All right.
There you go.
That's
Um.
nice.
So, Clore,
I don't know
you
what it is,
you need to give me a sleight of hand check, Clore.
but- right. Okay, let's see what we can do here. No whammies.
Is it helping that
15.
Theo was talking to him?
So all of a sudden the pile of bodies just kind of, and you hear a faint squeak from like 10 feet further back.
Mm,
And
Nice.
and the squeak just
well
gets,
played.
just kind of is very high pitch and very like as Pen, your little friend just continues to scurry along the wall as fast as it can, as where it just was but a few moments before is now whoosh on fire.
Is it okay?
Beautiful.
Gods! And all of a sudden there's, 4 guards walk in and 3 of them have their hands on their hilts.
I'm
Rin,
just gonna scream,
Rin.
"It's happening again!" and run.
Deception check.
Okay.
You guys are terrible.
I'm gonna.
Oh
Yeah,
my
natural
God!
20.
Oh my god.
Finally, a good roll.
+5 for a 25. Send it.
And all of a sudden, the guard who is holding Rin is, what? Sees the fire, and he just drops Rin. And to the guards, he's like, quick, stop the bucket brigade. And the other guards are like, oh, they get their hands off their hilts and they start running off to go and address the fact that there's now a fire started on this pile of bodies.
Hey, Theo, it started again.
Hey, DM, can Theo figure out that this is not the same thing?
Say it again?
Is Theo able to figure out this is not the same sort of situation?
Was Theo paying attention to,
Well, he was directly talking to Clore while Clore was trying to cast the spell all subtly.
yeah, let's see, what... But his sleight of
He's not
hand
got a lot
was
of
high enough.
experience with Magic.
His sleight of hand was high enough. You didn't notice that he
No, but I
cast
mean, like-
anything.
Just in general, I mean, there's a pile of bodies that's on fire now, not a building.
Uh, give me a survival check.
All right, yeah, my boy's not that smart, but he's seen enough that maybe he's smart enough to at least figure out the difference.
He
That
ain't
is a
smart, but he
16.
sure is fast. You look over at the fire that everyone's kind of panicking about, and you're like, it's one of those, it definitely wasn't there before, but it's not behaving the same way that fire normally does. And
So he's-
the fact that Pen is, still relatively close by, doesn't seem to be panicking, but as soon as the guards kind of start doing their thing and talking about a bucket brigade, you're like, something ain't right, but you're not sure which one is which.
Yeah. So you can say, well, buddy, in that case, Bob, I think that maybe we should get out of here. Pin, let's mosey on out, shall we? And
let's
he's gonna like
nonchalantly
kind of
leave.
do the gentle sort of guiding nudges that he did the other day when he was trying to direct everyone to the bloody shield, and just kind of be like, all right, let's.
By the time you guys are
let's
kind of ushering your way through, there's like 4 guards coming back in with buckets, and they just start like yeeting them across the room, trying to like splash this from as far away as possible on the off chance that it spreads very quickly and they can get the heck out. The bonfire spell, does that...
1
Can
minute.
that be... Yes, but can it be put out with water? That's the real... Create bonfire. Create a magical bonfire, see within range. Any creature in the bonfire space when you cast it must concede a dex saving throw or take damage.
It doesn't say anything about it. It says it's a concentration spell, so I'd imagine every time they throw water, it just
You create a
reappears. I don't
bonfire on the
really
ground,
know.
you can see. It's just fire, so I don't think their water's gonna put it out.
I think that the way, if we are all in fact walking out, if Chlor had any control over it and whatsoever with his concentration, he would just, as we're walking out, let it simmer, like let it like slowly die itself out as they're throwing water on it and just kind of leave.
It's more of an all, like, as soon as you're out of range, it's gonna kind of just out on its own. And that's 60
Well,
feet,
perfect.
so you're
Let's
gonna
get
have
that
to,
range.
you're gonna,
He's looking at.
so you just hightail it out of there.
See you guys.
All right.
As they get away, Theo's gonna pipe up. He's gonna say, "All right, first of all, I got some issues here. Why don't we tell them that we were from the Masonry Guild when we're not? At least I'm not. So I don't know why we were telling them that. The other thing there too is, look, I'm not the brightest, but I know that something wasn't right there at the very end, and I'm not very happy about it.
Theo, how loud are you? How loud are you talking, Theo?
Just enough that the group can hear him, not yelling. He's smart enough to be subtle. He knows that they have a reason for it.
Okay, because you're
No, he's waiting till they're away from the guards. He's not doing it like right there.
Also after a few moments of
I can't control my volume. I don't control my volume, but Theo knows how to.
as you guys are out there, you see this tiny creature kind of clamber and scurry, and it kind of ducks and weaves its way through the legs of the guards that are kind of going in and throwing buckets. This little tiny, brown, white stripe, black stripes, just kind of scurrying their way straight towards all of you, just kind of like just chittering away and just like scrambling, because all of a sudden it was just in there all by itself with people it didn't
Yeah,
recognize.
Pen is making like a dive to pick up the little voice.
And then Theo is also going to address Penny. He's going to say, "And is his little partner there okay?"
So you watch as, Tiefling, clad really nice shiny horns, just kind of like dives into the dust and ash and dirt and just
Yep.
scoops up this little tiny creature and it's just like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
Okay, good. A little thing like that. Even just a little bit of fire might singe the poor little thing. If he's not okay, you let me know because I'm pretty used to helping out animals on the farm.
Chlor and Rin, this is the first time you've seen this little creature.
Yeah, Pen's glaring at Cord, clearly aware that the fire just started.
I just look back at Penn, and Chlor just like holds a hand up in front of his chest and points a finger straight at Bob.
Pen just picks up his fingers and just goes right to his eyes, flips it around, and points right back at you. And says nothing. And then just goes, "Remember, I'm the best at counting the dead bodies."
So how many of them were on fire?
16.
Jeez.
Woof.
That's
Now Chlor
Dead
kind of
bodies.
feels a little bad for lighting 16 bodies on fire, but
Hmm.
Slightly bad, but not really.
All right.
Anybody up for barbecue?
yeah. So
At-
So we
Theo,
learned
you
nothing.
the half orc, half elf guard finally makes his way out of the structure and starts scoping around, and his points over at you guys and just kind of like gestures.
I'm gonna pretend that I don't see him, and I would know kind of where, I guess the actual Mason's Guild is.
Give me a history check.
please.
In Pathfinder, there's
Because
such thing as
love is
knowledge
cheap.
local, which is perfect for these types of
Mm.
things. Knowledge history is, or history check is the closest we have. In,
Yeah,
in front of you.
that is that was an 8, but I am a court functionary, so I know how bureaucracies function, and I can gain access to records and inner workings of any noble court or government I encounter.
I don't.
That I forgot that you have that.
That's my background as a courtier.
I forgot that we did that. I forgot
Courtier.
that we went to that nth degree with you.
Yep.
Keeping that one in your back pocket.
So I'll give you this as you look back around and look at the different buildings. A conversation that you had just the day before comes to mind with one of the guards. How this was the building that he went to pay his taxes.
Mm-hmm.
However, the rest of the buildings,
Yes.
when it comes to the guilds, there used to be more prominent from what you remember. Like, oh, the Masons Guild was like, hey, this is the Masons Guild building. Oh, and then the different artisans had, very prominent entities where they would kind of dictate their edicts over the craft from, and also like run their sessions on training and initiation for new individuals. They're kind of spread out all through the city for the different the different organizations, but not really sure where the Masons Guild headquarters would be. That one is not one that you frequented. You spent a lot of your time, with the merchants guilds.
Yeah. So
as
then
opposed
I
to
would
the
know
craftsman
where,
guilds.
after, if that was the building, if the building that exploded was the one where the guard was paying his taxes, I would know where those taxes would then get carted to.
Yes.
Down the line. I want to go there.
So
You wanna
wait,
go there?
the guard's gesturing for us to go over, right?
He's not gesturing for us. He's looking for someone behind us. We're free to go.
Oh, okay.
Theo's a
Theo,
good boy. His mama and his dada raised him right. He's a good boy. He's a good law-abiding boy.
Theo, didn't you say you wanted to go see the taxes part of this? I think we have to go figure out something else. I think Redding has
The
an
bank
idea.
at the central building is what I wanted to check out, but it sure looks to me like that gentleman over there who was having a discussion with you really wants to talk to us.
He already
think it'd
talked to
be-
me. He said a lot of things to me when he picked me up. He said that he really appreciated my hairstyle. He said that my nose was not that big and I should really lean into it. And then he set me down and we were free to go.
As you guys
Theo's not
continue to
that
banter back and forth about
Theo's
this,
not that dumb.
this guard captain appears to be approaching now with a small posse of 3 other guards behind him.
Yeah, Theo's gonna say, it sure looks to me like he really wants to talk to us. I don't think that he was done with that conversation. So Theo is now done with his conversation with Rin, and he's gonna pay full attention to the captain of the guard. The guard detective guy.
I just walk
Um,
away like I don't know what's going on around me.
Chlor just
And
whispers
follows
to
Bob.
Theo. "Please
Bob
don't tell
seems to
them
be
I
the
didn't
most
pay my
reasonable
taxes."
one.
Yep. Maybe there's some coffee over here. Let's go see if we can find some.
as you turn to start kind of walking away, you see other guards have picked up that something's going down, and they're now kind of starting to come in from the other side.
I point behind me and it's like, hey, back over there and keep on trucking.
They don't seem to, care about what you think as they
Well, I'm
approach
gonna
you
walk
and they
until
start drawing.
Until they lay hands.
Until
They have the two that are nearest Bob and Penn have drawn their swords, and
Whoa, hey.
and they're like, basically just gesturing for you guys to stop and turn around and look towards the guard, the captain.
Okay, what's up?
Unless I can find some identification, you're all under arrest.
Well,
Ben
I've
holds
got.
out his papers.
Here's my
Theo
paperwork.
gets his
from
out.
where I-
Ben just holds out all of his papers.
Yeah, Theo's got his out too.
I
Like we all have
I-
paperwork at this point.
I reach in my pocket and cast prestidigitation to make a like a badge from the make a badge from the Masons Guild appear in my hand as I pull it out.
Okay, you're really okay.
He's sticking with it. He's coming in.
We're gonna ride this sucker down.
All right.
He's fully committed to the act.
All
right.
He's going to be the actual head of the Masons Guild.
We're gonna need a
He's the
couple of
new,
things out of you,
Marshall
Rin, as you
Principal.
try to pull this crap off here. The first thing is a sleight of hand check. Oh no, actually, the first thing is another history check. Do you even remember what the guild's logo pendant?
Of course I remember. Of course I remember. That's a 17. Guilds
Yeah.
don't change that often.
All right. And now I need a sleight of hand check.
It's an old badge too, so it's like I'm an OG building inspector. Sleight of hand, you say?
Yes, a sleight of hand check.
That's a 3. I fumbled a little bit.
That's not the end of the world.
That's his bartending license he just produced.
I saw you move your fingers.
Because as I was pulling it out, one of the rings on my fingers got caught on the inside of my pocket, and I kind of had to yank it out, and it tore a pocket. And now I have a hole in my pants.
I need to know which particular way you are using prestidigitation. Are you creating a non-magical trinket or illusory image that lasts for literally 6 seconds?
The duration is an hour.
There are different ways of using the spell.
Huh.
You can make a color, a small mark, or a symbol appear on an object or a surface for 1 hour. And if you do it that way, So
one of the stones actually that I had pulled out. It's not a badge so much as it is like an emblem. But one of the stones that I picked up from inside the burning building to look at, I shove in my pocket. And I take that out and I create the embossed image of the Masonry Guild logo and whatever identification that needs to be on that stone. And that's what I'm holding up.
all right. Well, let's.
That would be good.
Okay, so there's that, and then
Chlor looks bored. Like, why is this happening? Obviously, we are legitimate.
okay. So as you pull it out, you're lifting it up, and as it faces the guard, it shines, it shimmers, and the emblem begins to glow and show up. And he just kind of like looks at it.
Tiny.
Why didn't you provide that earlier?
I was trying to. You picked me up by the scruff of my tunic.
You were talking
And
around
then there
me.
was a fire.
Well, and now he's trying to act a little bit more tough. Next time the guards ask something of you, that is what you should do first, as opposed to talking around us and letting things happen.
We're both civil servants. There's no need to get into a hissy fit and try and make yourself seem more important. We're both trying to do the same thing.
I'm in charge of the investigation.
and I was
Well,
investigating.
maybe next time we'll.
I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. Why weren't you doing what you were supposed to be doing?
It just kind of looks at you like, what?
Exactly. Thank you. I turn around. If that will be all, we're very busy.
And the guards all like put their swords away and just kind of look at each other like, you're called over for this? Like they were looking for a fight.
You know.
Chlor subtly
You
releases.
guys can't roll to actually do investigation, but to BS your way out of situations.
Isn't how it always works, though, DM? It's always how it works. Get ourselves into situations, BS our way out.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I'm not mad. I'm not even mad. I can't even be mad about it. But let's go. All right. So.
I think that's.
Do you have where's this campaign? What?
Yeah. No.
We have no plans.
There is.
We have no plans, and we have learned absolutely nothing, and we have just spent how much time doing any of this?
All right, so I think that's all we're gonna get from this right now, Mr. Guard Detective person. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. So for now, I think we're gonna take our leave and go talk about what little information we got. You continue your hard work here, and you all stay safe now. All right?
Coffee this way.
Say as he gently nudges Pen onward as usual.
Yep. Gentle nudges. Gentle nudges.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
And I just for the group. This is Chlor. I just want to reevaluate. What do we as a group want to get into this anymore? I feel like we've tried to be good people. We've done our job. Like I know Theo and I were on our way to the to a guild to see if we can find some actual work that people want us to be doing.
The adventurers.
Do we want to
Guild,
just do that? And like, obviously they don't want our help. I'm just
Well,
throwing it
we're
out
looking
there
for-
because I'm tired of trying to help people that don't want our help. Like clearly, but that's just me. That's the group. I know, whatever, however you want to do it. I'm really more interested in like how Theo feels because I don't know you guys, but just throwing it out there.
Sure, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. You got it, pal. Nobody? Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright,
I'm
cool.
not really. Yeah, their building blew up. It's their problem.
And just looks at the group and goes, "But there are other bodies to find."
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sure, if that's your thing. Pal.
Okay. I was gonna say, well, eventually my goal is to kind of get into the Adventurers Guild, and we did need to meet with your friend Marshall Percival. So now that things are settled down, maybe we can go and do that, and then we can work from there, huh? Certainly, we would have. The detective would have said something about the bank if anything had happened with it, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Well, I'm fine
I,
with that then.
I have a feeling it isn't over. We'll run into this tax building explosion
It'll be
again
back.
later.
Yeah, it'll be back.
I'm okay with the idea of heading for the guild to see if there's any work. If the rest of you still want to stick with us, I mean, I don't mean to presume. I know that you all had your own things that you were trying to do, but we haven't really gotten to know each other very well, and it seems an awful shame to meet new friends and suddenly part ways like this. Could at least do.
I'm more than
something.
happy to hang out and see what's happening over at the Adventurers Guild.
Well, Marshall Percival sounds familiar. I think I may have gone to school with him actually.
Oh, really? Well, would you look at that, Chlor? You and Renningham have a friend in common.
Yeah, good old Marshall. He's a guy. Exists. So I do know, and I'm just gonna throw this out there. I don't know what your all end goals are, but usually the more group members we the for the task at an adventurers guild, the higher the payout. So if you guys, wanted to go over there with us, we might be able to find something to do um, that'll be good for all of us.
I like that idea.
As we were walking,
Something that will get us on the road.
I look at the hole in my pocket, literal hole in my pocket now, from where the stone had tore a hole, and I go, first I need to sew this up, then we can fill it with gold.
How about you, Pin? You gonna stick with us, buddy?
Oh, and I cast Prestidigitation again and mend the hole, because you just mend holes.
But that mend only lasts for an hour?
It does the thing.
It does not do the thing.
Oh,
That doesn't count. Sorry.
It's-
Mending would.
It would be mending.
It would be mending.
I feel like
Yeah.
you can make it look like it's mended.
You
but that
can
only
you can
lasts
make
for
it
an
look
hour.
like it's mended, or if you do the trinket version, I would make an argument that you know,
Create
as a
patch.
trinket, yeah, you basically create a little patch that'll hold for literally 6 seconds before it just kind of backs apart again.
Hey, Rin, you got a hole in your pocket. I'm pretty handy with a needle and thread. I can patch it up for you if you want. Of course, probably not in public. We might need to stop it
Not
in
now.
first.
Not now.
I can look at the hole and laugh.
Anyway, Pin, are you with us, buddy? Sure would be nice
Pen
to have
likes
an
gold.
educated medical type along.
And nods and says, "Yeah, I like money."
I
The
I
great
sure need some
motivator.
too. Gotta send some back to my family. So yeah, it sounds like a plan then. How about we stop by the Bloody Shield, we get your pocket all patched up, and we drop by the guild afterwards. And Clore, you gotta get your papers, right?
Uh, yeah. Yeah, those papers, it also definitely exist. I gotta grab those. So let's go to the Bloody Shield and
You do have papers. You got them when you got into
You
the
had to have
city.
them to get into the city.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean we've got temporary papers. They're not good for a long time, but we're legal for now.
yeah, let's go get it. Let's do it.
This is true. They were only supposed to be good for like what, 3 days?
Something like that.
That's right. I forgot about the papers.
Yeah, there's a time limit on them.
Yep.
Seeing as Pen, Clore, and Theo, you guys have been in the city the longest, and we didn't actually go over this before. Did any of you actually go to the office prior to meeting up with everybody to, get your papers validated?
And
Are you
would've.
giving us that option now? Because Theo would have. He's a good law-abiding boy.
Pen does things by the book.
Okay, I'll give it to you this time, but I'm not gonna be this. We didn't talk about it, so considering the three of you guys,
because you said that Theo and Clore had already been there for at least 3 days prior to the whole. building
yes,
on fire
yes,
kind of
and
thing.
but I was gonna leave it up in the air to have you guys actually follow the rules. So, yeah, okay, so the three.
I appreciate it.
I think
Do you
think
wanna
Cole would
follow the
let
rule
Theo
or
convince
not?
him to do that.
That sounds reasonable because you're kind of hanging out with a law-abiding citizen.
Yeah.
If only Gerard
And
Butler
it seems
was in here.
inconsequential.
All right. So, Renningham and Bob, you still have your temp papers, and there's a date on them. That's tomorrow.
I don't need no stinking papers.
Let's go to the guild. Maybe we'll get out
Oh,
of it.
boy.
I've got my socks, right?
Not yet.
Theo needs his
damn.
journal.
God, I hope
Must
so.
get my socks.
You know where to go to get the socks, but
I'm off
you
to
you
get
haven't.
All right, all right, guys. You tell me where you are. I will meet you there. I'm getting socks.
Well, wait, if you're in that way, I gotta go that way too. I need to get a journal. I don't want to forget anything that happened here or anyone that I met.
Excellent. Let us go to the
I have
market.
some
Shopping.
dead organs to sell.
That doesn't sound creepy at all.
I'm sorry, you have what to sell? I'm sorry, you have what to sell? Anyway. much much better. All right. So, you guys have to head back to the. You said you were heading back to the Bloody Shield first, so.
Yes. Patch job should not take very long for Theo. He's used to this. Just look at his clothes, man. Come on.
Yeah, doesn't take you guys very long to make your way back around this guard gate as you kind of pass through, but only like half an hour earlier. Still isn't like fully manned. It seems to be more of a thoroughfare for people bringing in like supplies and materials, and also like pulling out debris. Seeing as it's closer to the front of the city and place to get all this stuff out. And then you continue your way around and make your way to the Bloody Shield.
So, Rin, if you want to come up to the room, I can get your pants patched up for you right quickly. Can't promise it'll be the prettiest, but it sure will be practical and good at doing its task of mending up that hole.
As we're walking up the stairs, I'm taking one foot out of the like I'm taking my pants off as we're going up the stairs into our rooms.
Yes.
I have underwear on. What?
In a hurry there, cowboy?
Well, they're patching my pants. My pants need to be patched. Can't do it on me.
Theo uses he pronouns. It's okay. You can use male pronouns for Theo. The player uses they them, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
He okay. So yeah. So he needs to patch my pants. Like he can't patch them on me.
How do you know? Maybe. Well,
He said he couldn't.
I just think it would be a little bit. It wouldn't have been appropriate to do that in public.
Look, the pants are already off.
All right.
And just whistles.
One of the tabaxi walks by, and this one is like jet black, except for like a white tip at the end of their tail. And as she walks by, she's like, "Nudity cost extra," and just kind of walks on.
I'm wearing pants. I still have underwear on. I'm not nude.
She just passing comment.
I love the tabaxi so much. I know I say this every single time, but I love this place and I love the tabaxi so much. All right. Yeah, so Theo would like to just patch up the pants. He's very practical about it. Just wants to get it done and get him back to Ren. Because they've got things to do. They got an adventurers guild to visit. They gotta go shopping, he and Bob do. And Penn has things that they need to sell, apparently.
Penn's got whatever weirdness going on that Penn's got going on.
Ingredients.
All right. So
Ingredients?
Theo, what sort of check would it be to do that? I'm gonna say it is a general dexterity check.
Okay.
To stitch up these here pants.
Okay, got it. I think I figured out how to do. There we go. I figured out how to do that one. Ah! Oh no.
So,
it's a 4. Just so you know, chat, it's a 4. I'm not rolling well tonight.
So, Rin, you hand Theo your pants, and Theo just kind of heads off into his room, and you're just kind of standing there in the hallway, pantless, and you see you're looking at the material, and you're like, this is a different. You've never worked with something this like it's the threading, like the stitching, like you're amazed by how fine the thread count is on this. Like you're like, oh, sackcloth, that makes sense. Oh, rough cotton, that makes sense. Oh, fluffy wool, that makes sense. And you look at your clothes and you're like, mine is covered in leather, which helps with all of that. That makes sense. These don't make sense. As you take your needle And you realize your needle is not thinner than, the thread count and stitching on here. And you're like, well, holes is a hole, gotta stitch that bad boy up. And so you just kind of go through it, and as you do, it actually frays the fabric even more.
Yep.
And you're just like, you're working on it on the bed, and Rin is in the doorway behind you, and you go again, and you have to go further out for the stitching to kind of keep just around the needle, and then you realize your thread is rather thick, and so before long you get like 4 loops and you pull it a little tight, and where the thread goes through are still kind of gaping holes. It's not as big of a hole as it was. You now have traded one, medium-sized hole for 8 smaller holes, and just pulling that hole a bit shorter, but it'll hold. And
I'm in tears. Oh no! All right, so he's gonna hand the pants back, and he's gonna he's totally blushing. He's just like, sorry, I should have realized this before. As good as I am at patching up my sister's dresses and all that, she's always been better with this type of stuff. I've never worked with anything that fine. I apologize for the mess I made of your clothes.
I have
At least it's not as
one
big.
pair of pants. Only the one. You said you could patch holes. I have
can't.
more holes now.
They're air conditioned.
I'm so sorry, Rin. I
Coming out of
really
your
do
share.
apologize.
Whenever we hit that Adventurers Guild, whatever comes out of it, you're buying me a new pair of pants.
Absolutely, I wouldn't dream of doing otherwise. If you accidentally ruin someone's belongings or do it intentionally, you owe them for the repair or replacement of that object. I wouldn't dare dream of stiffing you on that. So I apologize. I tried my best. Lesson learned for the future. If I want to learn how to handle things like that, I guess I need experience first. I do apologize, Rin. I didn't mean to put you in this position.
I no longer trust Theo.
Rin will remember that.
What a group.
All right.
He tried his best.
Rin, you now have patched pants.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Your your blue rarity item just turned white. Like, it's just
Disenchanted.
Mm.
wow, this went from, uncommon and rare to very common. It's everywhere. Everyone's got a pair of patched pants.
It just has holes now.
Nothing.
You look outside and everyone's wearing the same pants as you with a patch on the same side. It's a fashion statement. It's that common all of a sudden.
It's fashionable.
All right. You have patched pants.
You're a trendsetter.
And have you put them on, or are they still in your hand?
Oh no, I've put them on.
I have donned the pants.
I have donned the pants.
A fully brown, dark brown tabaxi walks by and looks at you, and she's got linen in her hands, and she, gets ready to move into one of the other rooms, and she's like, she told you before, nudity costs extra.
Come on, man. I'm just a guy with one pair of pants. And now...
I was this close to stopping. Oh, why? It hurts. Ow.
Okay.
So, Clore, did you grab your papers?
Yeah. I actually grabbed everything that I own. I am fully stocked up. I, for some reason, don't plan on coming back here.
Okay.
So anything that I had left in my room, because I've been
Ominous.
staying there for the past couple days, I have now removed from my room.
All right. So Clora's cleaned up. Theo, you've patched some pants, and you know,
Poorly.
you. I think that was all you said you needed to grab while you were here.
Well, my question is what he noticed? Clora's all suited up and ready to go.
I mean, he's not being subtle
Well,
about it. You guys were sharing a space,
Yeah,
so
no, absolutely. Yeah, I literally grabbed everything that I have. I've strapped everything up and grabbed all of my belongings.
Yeah. So as Clora's passing by, Theo's gonna kind of like he's still like a little bit red in the face after the whole embarrassing thing with the pants. He's gonna say, Clora, are we planning on leaving? Is that what we're doing after this?
Oh, I just imagine if we're gonna be going on an adventure, trying to make some money, I should be well equipped for the task ahead. I don't know if we're gonna get a chance to come back here. Just got to stay ready.
That's awful smart. I guess I'll get ready too. Good thinking.
I mean, I know you've been looking forward to this, and I'd hate to not be able to go do something, because we have to come all the way back here first. So I think we should grab our things.
I think that's very smart. Clora, I don't know if I mentioned this before. I'm sure I probably have, but it's been a really educational traveling with you. You know so much about how things operate in bigger places like this. I think it's been good traveling together. I'm looking forward to it.
I go into my room to get all my stuff here in this conversation and say, if only she'd taught him to fix pants.
Clora's just very uncomfortable. He does the like when someone says I love you and they don't know what to say back. He's like yeah, thanks, pal. Well, let's go.
Buddy. Thanks, friend.
F's in the chat.
Sorry.
For everyone who's had to experience that unfortunate.
Moment of silence. I don't know. Sorry.
So, Bob, is there anything you go ahead and do while everyone's collecting their?
Wow, it looks like everybody's getting ready to leave. Are we getting ready to go for a walk? I'll get my stuff organized. All right, cool. Let's go. Where are we off to? What are we doing?
We're gonna make some money, Bob, so you can buy stocks.
Sweet. Let's get. I'm ready to get out of town. I'm getting claustrophobia here. These townsfolk are. I'm ready to go. Let's go. Let's go.
All right. So you guys are on the northeastern side of town, and the closest thing to a guild hall that you found was kind of a generic meeting space that was found by Theo and Clore. Where you guys, and you guys could get back there pretty easily enough, but you guys are looking for the Adventurers Guild. So where are you guys headed? You know that where you need to go to shop for the things you need to shop is on the south side of town.
Rinningham, you seem to have at least been here at some point in your attempts to remember the layout. Do you have a lot of history in this town?
Yes, like I mentioned whenever we were talking about Marshall, I seem to remember him from school. I actually went to school right up the road, and wherever the college is in this town. I think it's on the north side.
A college in this town? This is where you interned here. You didn't go to school here. King's College was its own city.
Well, yeah. Okay. Pull my notes. I should have just pulled my notes.
So you could have gone to school with him too, but it wouldn't have been.
City of Golden Spires is where we are. That's right. Okay.
Yes. I guess what I mean to ask is, Theo's really been looking for an adventurers guild for a very long time, and I've tried to help. I just don't know where it is, and we found a general gathering hall. But instead of just wandering around and asking, a man who's, known and been around this town, I'd love to just have you take us there.
Ran, give me a history check. Let's see if you
roll for history.
Yep.
Damn, an 11.
That's not terrible. It's not terrible. Level 1.
That's true. Level 1. All right, everyone's level 1 still. You think you remember where it is.
Mm-hmm.
Not remembering.
That's true.
From what you recall, it was not far from the south gate. So it's on the
Okay.
southeast side, not far from where the shops and things are. From what you recall.
Yeah, so it seems like the Adventurers Guild is actually on the way. We can pick up some socks on our way. Or the journal. Theo, you mentioned a journal.
Yeah, sure did, actually. I want to get a journal so I don't forget anything that happens here or anyone we meet.
Okay, so we can head off towards the south side of town.
Yep.
Pen, is there anything else you need to do while you're in this in here in the inn? In.
Need to travel with my stuff on me.
Travel with your stuff on you. All right, cool.
Smart.
SMRT. So you guys head out. And it's now approaching midday, so some of the hustle and bustle of people doing their lunch thing, doing their whatever midday errands they need to do. Shops are reopening back up for different meals, and you can see that people are lining up at some of the booths for different hot street food made right there on the spot. And as you continue heading south, you see one market area, but it's not the one you were told about. This one seems to have lots of different general goods, mostly food and things to kind of supply the locals with everything they need to kind of do their everyday. Not so much a major center of commerce. However, as you continue southward, you start seeing signs of higher traffic. There's wagons and things that are coming in, and some of them are stopping at some of these larger, more warehouse style structures. And there's a couple of places that, based on some of the noise and activity, are taverns or inns, and just larger places of activity.
Do I see the caravan I came with?
Give me a perception check.
Mother. Oh, -1. Jesus.
Oh no!
Oh my! This ought to be
I
good.
didn't even know that was possible.
I rolled a
Because
0.
you have a negative modifier.
I rolled an actual
Oh, that's
0.
true. I had a -4 modifier once, and I think I got a -3 on a roll as a result.
That is. So
Actually, wait a minute. Hold on. I could have sworn I just. It's not a saving throw. Never mind.
nope, it is not a saving throw.
Nope,
You
it's
cannot.
just-
Nope. I knew what you were going for. Sorry, no dice.
Please.
All puns intended. So you're looking around, and you may be in front of the group, but suddenly there's like a wave of very, very tall people, and you like try to jump up a couple of times, and one of them you kind of land wrong, and you end up falling in the dirt, and the the hole in your pants actually like just kind of completely gives away. And so what had started off as a hole about yay big that oh yeah, you couldn't keep coins and small trinkets in your pocket, that was then stitched in such a way that it might have held some objects, is now like your whole knee is exposed basically.
Mm-hmm. Outstanding.
So hole in my trousers.
That's what we need. We need a bard.
Did it just get suddenly colder for anyone else? There's a breeze.
I'm so sorry, Ren. I apologize.
I look down and I see my huge hole,
Oh.
and I just go, seems about right.
Short answer, however,
For a new
Rin,
pair
no, you do not see the
No, I
caravan
don't.
that you're
Okay.
not at all.
We'll look for a new pair of pants for you right now. How about that? I'm so sorry.
I guess yeah. While Bob's looking for socks, I can just go in and I'm just gonna buy a pair of pants because now it doesn't matter. I have a hole.
You also, Rin, conveniently are aware that this is the right vicinity to at least start looking for where the Adventurers Guild is.
Good.
And not far, just west from here, a couple of streets is where you should be able to find, socks and clothing and hopefully a notebook. There's definitely a general store around here, so you can find yourself something like that.
Theo's gonna follow Ren into the clothing store because he needs to buy that.
Owe me a pair of pants.
Exactly.
All right. You
Do I have
you
to
do
roll for pants?
No.
no, but
Roll for pants.
you walk into this this shop, and hanging above it, there's like just like a wooden sign that kind of has like a spindle with thread and a needle kind of going through it. Ye old classic, like, hey, we do things here with string. And the first thing that's just opening up the door is just
Wait a minute,
rows and rows of
we
rows
do
of
things with
textiles.
string, but tabaxi are not allowed.
Ooh.
Oh.
But that'd
Well,
be
you
so
know, you know
true.
what, you know how,
You know they wouldn't be allowed in there.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. It's
So Tabaxi need personal shoppers.
Well, they have to be supervised.
That's sad. This poor
Are you
Tabaxi.
saying they have to be on leashes?
Oh no!
That's a different kind of role play.
Is it though?
So there's a goblin standing on the counter. There's a goblin standing on the counter, and his hair is like perfectly coiffed.
I love it.
Well. Looks like we have ourselves some travelers here. What can I get you for? We got ourselves some really fine tapestries. We got ourselves some really fine, what's the word? Textiles. Yeah. We got ourselves some fine textiles here. Is there anything I can do for you?
I'm expecting him to end his sentence with, "That's the ticket."
I don't sell tickets. At least not here.
I just gesture to my hole in my pants, and gesture to Theo, and gesture back to my hole.
I'd like to buy this woman a pair of pants. I attempted a repair job. It went really badly, and I'm afraid that he tore them even further, which I feel absolutely horrible about. So if you could maybe help my friend out here, I'd be mighty appreciative, sir.
So you're looking for a new pair of pants, or you're just looking to have these pants patched? Those are some nice digs you got there.
They
I'll
were
leave that up to my
nice.
friend here.
They were
I'll leave
nice.
that entirely up to my friend here.
I'll go for a new pair.
All right, so a new pair of pants.
And he hops off the counter and kind of struts himself over, and you can see now that he's got himself some fine duds as well. He's got himself a nice tailored, perfectly cut suit, and nice shiny leather shoes that have little holes in the front, and you can see where the nails, his toenails, are kind of poking through. But they're like they're there's broguing around each of the holes. Like, it is decorated so that his nails can kind of come out and just kind of fits the rest of the garb. And
We'll just do a quick measure up.
and he claps, and you see as a very plain dressed human woman just kind of comes out from the back and just kind of like makes her way through some of the textiles and just kind of, you beckoned, sir? You beckoned? This guy here needs some new duds. Go measure him up, and we'll see what we got for him. I'm sure we got something in his size. So she kind of kneels down and just kind of, holds the hole shut, and then kind of just like stretches it out. And I think we made these. And then pulls out a measuring thing and measures your whole, 14-inch long legs. And then just kind of just quickly sizes you all up, and I think we can make something happen. And off she goes, and
Yeah, she was a good find. She makes some good stuff, and you know, pay her well enough to keep her around. So
How long? I just want pants. Okay.
nothing else, just wants pants. This guy's a simple man, you know. Are they gonna be the same color? Do you want the same color? Do you want the same material? Because that's not some just off the shelf material there. That's that was some fine work you had. In fact, and he starts
Had.
looking over the rest of your clothes, and these duds ain't so bad. You a little outdated, but definitely not so bad. Fashion moves kind of fast around these parts, so couple of decades out, but
I've never really.
you sure you
understood
don't want
the point of
anything to
wearing
go? Do you want anything new to go with these new pants? Cause not sure that anything we have is gonna match the style. Your eclectic, old school, old fashioned style.
I think it's mighty practical to wander around wearing older clothing, don't you, Ren? That way, if it does get ruined, you can more easily replace it. If you're not going to wear something heavy duty and practical, you're going to wear
That
fancy clothes like that. Then
explains.
the best way to do it
Well, looking
is how
at
you're
you,
doing
that
it, buddy.
explains the whole style you're going on there, Mister Farmer Adventurer. I nailed that one on the head,
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
I?
that's
You're
right.
you know.
You definitely did, sir.
See, the
You
thing
definitely
that
did.
people
Theo's
say
never
that
get
it's all
irritated.
about the attitude, and I'm gonna tell you they're wrong. The attitude only gets you so far, but if you got the right duds, you got the right pair of shoes, you get the right suit, you can walk in anywhere like you own the place. That's how I got here. I walked in, I had the right stuff, and suddenly I owned the place. I go into the guild hall and say, hey, I'm gonna take over the Clothiers Guild. And they go, the hell you're not. And I say, the hell I am. And then I killed them. And now I'm take over the Clothiers
wait.
Guild.
What? Sorry.
And I didn't get a
backtrack little
single
bit there,
drop
sir?
of blood on my suit. That's how good a suit can be.
I
So,
don't think that has anything to do with how you're dressed, sir. And besides which, if we're planning on being adventurers, I think you need more practical clothing than something as fancy as that. That's more for
well,
for
wait
a
a second. I
party
know you're
or
the
for
adventurer,
maintaining a
but him here,
business or
you, just because you're outdated doesn't mean you're an adventurer. It just means you're eclectic. You like old taste. Are you going out in the fields with this type of stuff? You're gonna ruin your goods. And on that, the human woman comes back with a pair of like vibrant purple pants.
Love it.
They're the same
Yep.
material. They definitely look the same, and you kind of can see and they feel the same, but they're bright purple.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they're mine. I like them.
See, now this
I put 'em
doesn't
on.
always. So now describe your outfit for all the world.
Oh, geez. So it's, if I remember correctly, I think I have like almost like a three-piece suit, like I have like a suit vest kind of, with not a huge ascot, but it's an ascot, and it's an extra piece of clothing or an extra piece of cloth that's kind of folded in the vest. I've got the long sleeves. I got like not necessarily a duster, but it does have some tails. And I got the purple pants now that look really good. And I did have like alligator skin boots, with little not rhinestones, but little brass studs. And now purple pants.
No, we can get
Beautiful.
you a nice purple suit top to go with those purple pants.
I don't need a purple suit top. I just needed pants.
Well, fine. Just the pants that'll run you 2 silver.
All right, I got it. Thank you very much for your business, sir. And Theo's gonna pay up the 2 silver.
All right. Well, if you got nothing else for me, I've got nothing else for you. Then get the hell out of my shop. In all good business, just all good.
We do have something else. I need wool. I need woolen socks.
And he looks you over. I ain't even gonna try to figure out that style. We're just gonna woolen socks. Do you care about the color? Do you
No.
care about the breed of sheep that the wool comes from?
No.
How much are you willing to pay for the socks?
Well, it depends on how good they are.
Okay, so you want cheap. Got it. Get him the cheap socks.
Now, I don't know that he necessarily said that he wanted cheap socks. He said it depends how good they are. Why wouldn't you show him everything that you got and let him pick?
You know what? I don't like this guy. Let's just get some socks and get out of here.
I gotta say, I'm not terribly fond of the attitude in this store either, and I'm probably not gonna recommend it to anyone.
Well,
So
be careful because he might kill you because he's like in charge of the Fabrics Guild.
the human woman comes back with a small box, and in this box there's a stack of like all like gray and brown, just kind of, they're thick, simple socks. Like they don't even really have like a proper heel like shape to them. They're just more like a tube of cloth for your foot.
This is
And
not
then
gonna work.
next to it are definitely made of wool, but the knitting is much finer all the way across. One of them looks particularly warm. It looks to have like 2 or 3 layers of material to it. And all but the one are patterned in like an Argyle style pattern of woolen sock.
Okay, this looks like junk. Let's go.
Junk? You're saying my wares is junk? Where else are you gonna get better wares? I got the best socks in this area.
At which point
How about a place?
I pick up the tube and I go, there's not even a heel here. Look at this. This thing's it's already worn. You're trying to sell me a used sock? This is junk. We're out of here.
How about a place that caters more towards practical everyday people? I think that would be a good place to go, don't you, Bob?
I agree. Let us go find this place.
Good riddance
Ma'am,
with you.
And he turns to the human and he says, "Ma'am, thank you very much for your time and your patience today. I think that you do very good work. You're measuring, as far as I'm able to tell from what I saw, from what my mama does and what my sister do with their patchwork. I think you're a mighty good tailor." And Theo's
She
gonna
just
take
kind of like looks at you, just kind of like with a dead blank expression, puts a lid
At
on
which-
the
at whi-
box, and just kind
At
of.
which point I have to lean over to the human and go and look at her and go, if you're being held captive, blink twice.
She looks over at you, and then turns and walks away.
Okay.
Um,
And as they leave the store, Theo just kind of like lets out this like.
Bob
That
and
man's
Rin,
attitude.
I need both of you guys to give me perception checks.
Perception checks. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum.
Got a 15.
Was I doing a perception check or somebody else? I'm sorry.
You as well,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. See, I was hoping it wouldn't be me because I'm sitting here fumbling with the software going, how do I do this?
If you click on the little plus next to perception, like where it says +4 on your sheet, if you click on that, it'll actually run the roll.
Oh, I'm trying to do it in the wrong place. That's why it didn't make any sense. Okay, let me find it over here.
If you want to roll generic dice, you can use the dice roller in the bottom left, I believe, on your character sheet. If you want to roll a particular check, you can just click right on it in your character sheet, and it'll roll it for you. It does all the
Okay.
maths.
Ba-bum. Damn it. Why am I use software all day. Why am I so stupid when it comes to this? I mean, my entire day is nothing but software. Yet, for some reason, I can't do this. So that's a 15. My
You get it with a
perception-
custom roll, so you didn't click on the little plus.
Well, if I could find the plus. See, I'm stupid here. Damn it. Why isn't it here? Persuasion, religion, sliding hand.
Well, I know it's a +4, and you rolled a 15, you said?
Yeah, so it's 19.
So 19. You guys notice that from the entire interaction, the human woman didn't blink the entire time.
So
That's
she's
weird.
super not held captive. Because she was supposed to blink twice.
I'm gonna kind of feel the inseam of the pants that she brought me, and I want to say, "How many stitches is this?" And I hold my pants up. for her to come look and tell me.
And she just kind of turns and just looks at you from like across the way. You can like barely make out the fact that she's carrying the box. 300 flat count.
And as she turns to look, I am going to do
figured it out, sorry.
I'm going to do prestidigitation again to make a little flash of light, like a flashbang,
Oh gosh.
and see if she blinks.
Give me a Constitution check.
Constitution check.
Save. Sorry, Constitution save.
Okay.
Not that that helps you much
Better.
at all.
18.
Hey.
Glad
Um,
I'm using these rolls.
Woo!
Yeah, get all the high rolls now. You, while you knew that you were going to make the flash, you made sure to blink just at the right time to not be blinded by your own quick. However,
Mhm.
she doesn't seem phased at all by the sudden.
Jeez.
What is that
Maybe
for?
like a-
What are you doing? And you see the goblin is kind of like rubbing his eyes, like, what the hell? Get the hell out of
She
here!
does-
You don't
she
need to be
doesn't
here anymore.
blink.
Are her
That's her
eyeballs-
prerogative. She blinks on her own time.
I cast prestidigitation again to create a puff of wind to like blow in her eyes.
By this point, she just kind of
Taking an eye
turns
exam, I
and
love it.
just keeps on walking. And you just kind of watch as her hair just kind of.
Ah. All right. I'm not that interested, really. I just want to try.
All right.
to blink.
Now get the hell out of my shop.
Insulting my
Gladly.
socks. I designed those
Alright.
socks. I may not have made the socks, but I designed the socks, and I can tell you that they're best sellers. He just kind of mutters to himself as he starts walking away. Get the hell out!
I'm mad about the socks. All right. So we leave, and then are we able to move towards where the Adventurers Guild is?
So let's see. Again, actually, Rin and Theo, both of you guys roll history checks.
History.
History.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's an 18.
Yeah, I rolled a 20.
Nice. All right. So
Coming back to me.
Theo, you're like, okay, the Adventurers Guild would probably have things like swords and shields on their logo, and you know that's the place to go. And Rin, you're able to like perfectly, after recalling the picture of the Masons Guild in your head, you're immediately like, well, if that's the Masons Guild, you start kind of going through the guild list in your head, and you're like, I'm 95% sure that this symbol in mind is for the Adventurers Guild. And it is in fact like two swords kind of sitting over a shield, and then on the shield there's on one corner an emblem of a bag of coins, and on the other side looks to be a skull.
Hmm.
And so you have a good idea in your head of where to go for, you know, what to look for such a building.
All right. So I'm gonna start I'm walking that. I'm looking around for it. I'm looking around, walking that way.
Do you inform anyone else what these look like, or are you just kind of like, I'm gonna try to find this damn place?
I'm just trying to find the damn place, man.
So, Rin, I'm glad that those pants fit you. Sorry for causing a scene in there. Do you think maybe before we meet up with the rest of the group, you could help me figure out where that guild hall is?
Yeah, we're looking for the. It's 2 swords, a shield, a skull, and some coins.
Gotcha. All right. Interesting. You know, I'd never been to any sort of adventurers guild or anything like that before. The other day when Clore and I went to the guild hall, that was the biggest building I'd ever been in my life. So I'm actually pretty excited to see this.
So you're not from big cities, huh?
No, definitely not. I'm actually from a town on the Modest Plains. It's a small little farming community.
Hmm.
And as you guys are kind of like walking and talking, you're kind of realizing that the crowd has kind of gotten bigger as you kind of head further in this section of town. And you're kind of having to like weave through people, and people are nudging into you.
Mhm.
And before long, you see a building that has a lot of activity and a symbol kind of hanging above the door. And it seems to be a sword and shield with a bag of coins
With
and
a
a skull.
skull and a bag coin.
Yeah.
Okay, Theo's eyes
And
go like wide when he sees it. He's just in awe,
so
staring at it.
this building looks like a scaled up version of the Bloody Shield. It's probably twice as long. From what you can tell just by trying to glance through the door, where there's just a crowd of people all, just kind of talking, yammering, and doing some stuff, all armored and decked up to the nines, in their, honestly, a lot of their just rewards from doing tasks. Some of them have like really ridiculously shiny armor. Others have like they're brandishing like obnoxiously large weapons. They're just kind of hucking around, but then you can see on their side is like a more reasonably sized, bastard sword or something like that. And it probably goes in deep 2 or 3 times the depth of the Bloody Shield. And then you also can see that it goes 2 stories above, and all appears to be part of the same organization.
Yeah, no, we're talking like head on a swivel, like staring around the guild hall, just like jaw practically on the floor. Theo is amazed. He's never seen anything as awesome as this in his life.
All right, we're gonna pause there and go to Clore and Pen. What are you guys doing? Just kind of tailing along with everybody?
Clore would never in a million years have gone into that clothing shop with with that group. I gotta say, I think Clore would have just waited or wandered around until they came out. Like, he is not interested in anything in the market area. So
All right.
just following the group along.
Roll me some percentile dice.
Okay. I don't like that.
I'm sorry that I scare you with percentile dice. Oh no.
Let's see. Roll to everyone. 15.
As you kind of meander about, you you're like, okay, I know we need a clothing shop, I know we need an adventurers guild, and I know we need to find a place to get a journal. And so in the few minutes that they're inside, you just kind of like slowly kind of circle about and try to meander your way through. And unfortunately, you don't find anything that stands out as a nice place to acquire such things. In fact, you now that the party has kind of moved in this direction and found the Adventurers Guild, you realize that you were like literally a building and a half away from one of your, intended destinations.
I can see somebody in my party.
Yeah.
Like, how do I realize I'm a building and a half away?
You can see Theo's kind of tall.
Theo is indeed tall.
Got them horns.
So
And then
I guess
Pen.
Go ahead.
What is Pen doing as Clore starts to head that way?
Pen would have been wandering, looking around for any exotic merchants or merchants that clearly sell eclectic things.
All right, roll me some percentile dice for you as well. Um,
21.
Based on the time of day, many of the shops seem to be really focused, at least as far as you can tell, on selling food. And most of the people moving around you don't seem to be carrying goods that aren't meal related. And so even trying to use the context of what other people are carrying to judge a good direction to go isn't really all that helpful. And you find yourself actually moving further from where the party is going.
But can Pen get really distracted by a food cart? Because Pen
If you so desire, there's all sorts of varieties here. You see one that seems to be these spirals of fried dough that are battered in, or not battered, seem to be coated in a shiny, crystalline something, and a brown powder on top.
So it's sparkly.
Just a touch sparkly. Just a touch sparkly.
Just enough sparkle. Pen would go over and buy one.
All right.
Just
Only
because
costs
it's shiny.
only costs you a copper. And you bite into the cinnamony, sugary goodness that is strangely reminiscent of a churro.
I knew that was what you were going for. I was gonna ask.
All right. So while Pen is distracted with the churro, Clore kind of follows after Theo, Rin, and Bob, because Bob was with the two clothing individuals as you guys head towards the Adventurers Guild. All right. This is gonna get fun because we've now split the party.
Oh,
the
sorry,
party.
DM.
No,
Don't
no.
you know
I said
you
fun,
never
and
stop
I mean
running?
it. However,
Alright.
now is actually a good time to take like a quick 10-15 minute break, and because it's like 10 to 11, we'll just do like a 10-minute break. It's not gonna go like a full 15 minutes, and we'll meet back up here at 11, and we will continue as people step into the Adventurers Guild.
Dun,
Alright.
dun,
Yay.
dun.
I know. See you guys in just a hot minute.
Okay.
And we're back. And I need to pause the music. There we go. There we go. Music's gone. All right. So,
I need
nice
a
quick
sip.
break. Welcome back. Where we last left off, Pen had found themselves a churro, and was, enjoying eating that. And just a few buildings down, the rest of the party had made their way to what appears to be the Adventurers Guild.
Heck yeah.
So the outside of the structure kind of described it, multi-story. Bottom layer is appears to be made of large stone. The doors are like these rather massive, like ornate, like dark wooden doors, very solid. And then above that appears to be mostly wooden and like a lath and plaster, structure, and it goes up 2 stories from there to a roof you can't really make the most out of. And there's a couple of windows. You can see kind of some light and some activity going through. And then on the first floor in the stonework, there are some larger windows, and you can make out where there's a section that appears to be its own like private tavern. There's rows of tables. There appears to be a bar behind it with like a large number of kegs. People are eating, and some people seem to be playing some card games and stuff like that. But they're all, instead of where you're at with the bloody shield, and there was different merchants and farmers and lay folk. This all appears to be people who are pretty dressed up in their armor. They're in their wares to at any given moment just kind of pack up and get walking. And as you head inside, you can see these decently kept, rather decently clean, but worn just from people stepping on these dark wooden floors. And on the right hand side, there's a wall just kind of along this entrance area, and there just appears to be notices all over it. And each one has like a different quick description of a job and a rough description of what type of people they're looking for to complete it, and some the scale of the reward. There's no actual gold listed on the rewards. It's just it seems to be a grade on the reward. Further in, probably about 15 feet from the door, there is a large desk, about 15 feet wide, and there's a goblin woman standing on top of it, just kind of like shuffling through paperwork and moving stuff around, and then grabbing up like a bag of coin, and you can see she's counting it. And then behind the counter is a half orc woman, also just kind of, you can see, shuffling about and talking to the occasional adventurer sort who seems to walk up and ask her some questions. And she kind of flips her hair back and just kind of has her stuff, and then there you go. What do you guys do?
Well, I got us here.
Thank you.
We're looking for Marshall. That name keeps
Mabel?
bouncing around.
Well, Marshal Percival was back at the other guild hall. That's your friend and Clora's friend. I think the reason why we're here is to see about getting ourselves maybe one of those jobs over there on the board. So maybe we should ask those nice-looking ladies up at the desk for how we would go about doing that here. Maybe
Ask them if they know Marshall. Yeah. So I go up to one of the ladies at the bar. And
Which one? You have the goblin woman, and you have the half orc.
Ooh. I I go up to the half orc and in orcish say, "Do you know a Marshall?" Just that.
She kind of leans over the counter to look down at you and replies to you in orcish.
I'm sorry. You wanna see the marshal?
I'm looking for Marshall Percival.
Yeah. Marshal Percival, the guild leader. He's of the Merchants Guild. He's in the center part of town. You're in the wrong part of town.
I was told that he had business here.
Whoever told you that, talking out of their ass.
Now, to the rest of you guys, this just sounds like orcish, and this half-orc woman, like, has, like, kind of just, she looks young. She has, like, you know, pale, like, platinum-ish hair. It's pulled back in a ponytail, and, you know, there's no wrinkles, no, you know, poor-looking skin. Nice, bright smile, very professional attire, and it just sounds like orcish. Does anyone else actually speak orcish? Is Rin the only one?
Yeah, no, Theo only knows Goblin and Common.
Oh.
No, no orcish here. It's all gibberish.
All right, cool, I guess.
So, there's no
where-
Marshal Percival here.
So I turn to him and say, Marshall's not here.
That's all right. How about we ask about how we would go about being able to accept some of these jobs and whether or not there's any joining requirements.
Well, Theo,
Yeah.
this is your goal, right? Like this is why you're here.
Well, yeah.
I
Kind of
think
like I told you, Clora. I really am trying to join a guild.
this is step.
So I
This
can-
is step one.
In common, the half-orc just kind of looks up at you, and in a very similar voice is,
So you're here to join the guild?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely, that's my goal. I came all the way here from the modest plains to join an adventurers guild.
Oh, look at you, trying to be one of those farmer turned adventurer, trying to, you know, make a name for yourself kind of individuals.
It's not really so much about making a name for myself, so much that it is providing for my family back home.
Oh, what a
But,
great
yeah.
and noble cause. So I've got some paperwork for you to file if you decide to join. There's an entire guidebook that'll teach you all the things you need to know about the Adventurer Guild. If you spend an extra 2 copper and it all goes to guild activities, you'll be able to get the audiobook version that will also describe to you exactly what page you're looking for everything. It's more like you ask it, it'll tell.
You know what? I'm happy to
Particularly
set up a
around
copy-
guild rules.
But I do have a question. Is it possible to join as a group? If
Uh,
there are more than one of us?
You'll all have to join individually because guild ranking is handled on the individual level. It's all there in the handbook.
All right. Well, I'm interested in that paperwork. Then.
All right.
Come on, ma'am.
There's
Appreciate it.
1, 2, 3, 4, and the short one.
Assume,
I'm not. No. Theo. No, I'm not comfortable. This is your thing.
All right, sir. If you do not wish to join, it's described in the handbook, but you actually forfeit about 60% of any profits from guild work that you perform. That handles it on a per member basis.
That's
You know-
okay. Theo, I can't. I don't
It's
feel
alright.
comfortable.
Flora, I won't force you to do nothing, but I promise you I will make sure that you get your fair amount of
All right,
pay.
how many forms do I need? You guys can figure out your tit for tat later. How many forms do I need? I got stuff I gotta do.
We'll keep the same amount, even though Clore here doesn't necessarily want to sign up. We got one more person who might. I don't know if they want to or not. They're out doing their own thing, but they'll be joining us later.
So you need
But we need some
five
paper.
forms.
No form for me. I don't work for guilds.
All right, four.
All right, so 4 forms. All right. Here's 4 forms.
and on each form you see there is a appears to be like a thin piece of wood just attached to it, and there's a small wooden needle next to it, and part of the instruction basically tells you to prick your finger on with the needle and tap the piece of wood.
No.
I got a question here, ma'am. I'm sorry, I'm awful new to all of this. What's the purpose of the needle and the
Blood
wood?
sample.
First page of the handbook, your guild membership token. The guild membership
Gotcha.
token is your proof of guild membership. If you lose your membership token, you have to prove that you are who you are, and that is done via the sample of blood that is magically registered with the guild hall. It is a private industry that is universal across the entire continent, all of which can be found in your handbook.
I'm sorry, I didn't know if I was allowed to read the handbook till after I'd filled out the paperwork, ma'am.
We
so I
provide the
didn't look at it
handbooks.
yet.
You can get a free handbook just for signing up. It costs 1 copper. If you would decide not to sign up, the audiobook version is only available for those who join the guild.
Alright, well, I'm interested in getting a copy of both. All right. So Theo is gonna fill out the paperwork and prick his thumb.
And as you do, as you tap the piece of wood, it begins to kind of inscribe, and you see the letters kind of change multiple times as it begins to just kind of like create a magical record. And it after it settles out, you can read your name, and it also has the City of Golden Spires, and it has your guild rank marked on there as a hyphen. It's got a dash.
Gotcha. Yeah, Theo's in awe, staring at that, and he's also a little bit put off. He says, "Ugh, only my mom calls me Theodore, and only when she's angry."
Does anyone else fill out one of the forms?
I don't. But is there like visible postings, or do they do it like they give a sign?
They're all on the board. They're all on the wall, to like just off to your right.
Do I recognize any names?
Give me an investigation check.
8.
Partially because you're only 3.5 feet tall, and partially because there is just a lot of listings. Like, as you kind of start to like glance over and try to read out the details of them, it's very quickly overwhelming as to how many jobs there are, who the jobs are for, how the reward system all seems to work, because you kind of can roughly gauge it out on like, oh, this one has like 3 copper notes, and this one has 2 silver notes, and this one has a silver and 2 coppers, and you can kind of piece out other details that are like, there's definitely a system to this, and you're more overwhelmed by that than you are able to discern any particular names or things that stand out.
Is there any sheet that looks like a lot older than the other ones? Like it's been stapled over, it's been on the wall for a really long time?
I'm gonna say, yeah, if you take a couple of minutes, while Theo is filling out the paperwork, you kind of can sift through, and you can find in a couple places where there's some that have been kind of really nestled away, and some of them have like, they're kind of messed up at the edges, or the text is kind of faded on them. Some of them you can see are years old, like not even just like days or weeks. Some of them are years old that appear to have been incompleted, possibly even just defunct at this point, but hard to tell.
Okay. What's the oldest one say? The oldest one that I found. What was it about?
It appears to be from a woman named Gertrude, who is looking for her cat Smokey.
I love it.
Okay. Does it say where I can find Gertrude?
No. The request is to return Smokey to the guild hall.
Okay.
Is there a description of Smokey? How are we supposed to go about finding this?
So,
kitty?
Smokey is described as a long-haired cat that is gray and white, and was last seen out in the fields west of, I say fields, out in the desert area west of the city, heading towards where the industrial mining operations were. However, this listing looks to be 2.5, 3 years old from the date.
I don't feel optimistic about Smokey's odds of survival, but we'll keep an eye out.
Yeah.
And it's the reward section just has 1 copper. One like little copper note. You can't tell if it's actually like 1 copper is the reward, but it's only got the 1 emblem on it.
Gotcha.
Hey Theo,
Yeah, Clore.
there's
What's
a lot of people. There's a lot of people in here. I'm gonna wait outside.
Sure. You're all right.
There's just
all right. I really
signing
don't
up
like
to join the
crowds.
guild and all the people that are like together. Like I'm just uncomfortable. Like I trust you. and you whenever you guys decide to do, you know, I'm just gonna wait outside.
All right. Okay. Sorry to have made you uncomfortable, pal.
No,
I'll
it's
see you soon.
definitely not
Okay.
your fault. Yep, I'll just be right out front.
All right. Okay.
All right, so
Theo's
no
gonna
one
shell that
else.
2 copper
All right,
for
and
the
you
audiobook, by the way.
you get a
Audiobook.
it's it's probably one of the nicest books you've ever held in your hands before, Theo. It's leather bound. It's only about yay thick. But on each page, you know, the different sections that are noted out have a little black dot next to them, you know, and if you tap where the dot is, you know, it'll read out to you the different elements of the book. And if you go to the back where the index is, there is a search, you know, just it says search and there's just a little black dot.
Huh. Interesting. This is pretty nice. Never thought I'd really be doing this.
That's what they all
So
say.
DM,
They're all so
to be
excited.
honest, this was. Oh, yeah, no, I definitely am. To be honest with you, I'm sure you hear it all the time, but this was kind of a
Let me guess, the highlight of your life is what you're gonna do in order to make a name for yourself, provide for your family, and maybe one day even slay some really cool monsters. Just like every one of those guys over there. But unfortunately, I can tell you, only half of those people are gonna make it through next year.
Well, ma'am, uh, I appreciate the pragmatic view of things. To be honest with you, I care less about the whole making a name for myself. If that happens along the way, then that's fine. My main concern is my family, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'll be here next year. And
You do
I'm going to
that.
climb that ranking. I'm going to go from that dash as high as I can, and I ain't going to stop until I reach as high as I possibly can get. So thank you for your help today. I'm gonna go take a look at those jobs, and I'm gonna go and consult my friends and figure out what we're gonna do. So thank you very much, very kindly for your help.
And this is my gauntlet. Consider it having been thrown down.
You are very
Before
welcome,
he-
you. Sorry.
Before he leaves, he's gonna pause. He's got like one more question. He says, "By the way, I got a question here. I understand that all the guilds are connected across the continent,
Yes.
but does this particular guild hall have a name?"
Yes, the City of Golden Spires Guild Hall.
All right. Okay.
The guild halls are
Perfect.
named after where they are.
Okay.
It's all
each
outlined
city's
in
got
the
its own guild
handbook.
hall.
Each city
Got
that has a
it. I
guild
will read it
hall
later.
is named after the guild hall is, yes.
And
named
and Marshall Percival, the friend of my companions here, is the person who runs this particular guild.
Not even remotely. He was part of the Merchants Guild from a different part of
Merchants
town.
Guild. Got it. Well, thank you very much, ma'am. I appreciate it. You have a good day
Anytime.
now.
Anytime.
All right. Theo's gonna go take a look at the jobs, and he's gonna kind of consult with Ren and Bob, who are hanging around there. He's gonna be like, "Well, have we found anything interesting, gentlemen?" And he's gonna, he's got the forms. He says, "Bob, I didn't know if you wanted one. I grabbed one for you. Ren, I got one for you to at least take a look at if you're interested." I don't think you are, and I got one for Penn just in case he's interested when, or they're interested when they show back up.
We're gonna put a pin in that. Hey, Pen, how's the churro?
Put a pen in
Put a
that.
pen in that. How's the churro, Pen?
Oh, so tasty.
It's good churro. Yeah, good churro. Yeah.
Yep. Good churro.
Do you just kind of keep meandering around looking for oddities, or do you try to find everyone else?
Well, at this point, Penn probably feels a little lost and is like, I wandered a bit further than I intended. And then just sort of continues wandering.
Aww.
Hopefully that they'll come across their crew once again.
Just to be transparent, Chlor was going to stand outside and kind of look for Penn because Penn's been gone for a while. He didn't
Penn's
want to
gonna
be inside
mentally
anymore.
try and go in a circle.
All right, so Pen, I'm gonna have you make a survival check because that's most commonly used for navigation. So we're gonna go with that. It's basically wisdom, so yeah, that'll be fine. All right. A 12.
Didn't fall in any quicksand. That's good.
You as you kept heading like kind of northward, back kind of not terribly, in the direction that you guys came from. After a little bit, you realize that no, you've definitely been through here, and the clothing shop was back that way. You didn't see anyone that you recognized, so you kind of turn back around and start making your way. And after a couple minutes, Clore, you happen to see some glinty things about head height.
Pen? Pen? Pen?
Pen looks over.
We're over here.
Ah! He like folds up his half-eaten churro still and wanders back over, still munching.
Did you want to join the guilds? Like, be a member? Like, is that something that you're interested in? Do you know what that even means?
Yeah, nope. I'm not guild. No, thank you.
Okay, we can just hang out here. They're gonna just kind of find something for us to make some money on and bring it out to us then. So
That sounds fantastic.
that's what I said.
All right. So you guys are looking for a job to do on the job board?
Yes.
All right.
Roll
Preferably something that gets us
percentile
out of
die.
town.
Yes.
Roll percentile die.
Level 6 mission.
Oral. You're gonna go to a place called the 12 Towns or the 10 Towns and see what's going on there. Have fun with that. Nope. Mm-mm. Look at this. There's this thing called the Cult of Tiamat. Should we go check that out? I don't know. No. DM, how do you want us to do this?
So how long do you guys spend? What are you guys looking for in particular?
Something that will get us out of town.
All right.
So you're looking for stuff that's outside of town. Theo, what are you just looking for? Something that'll make you money? Are you looking for something that makes sense? Are you perusing the handbook?
The handbook is something that I can go through as I got questions. I guess first of all, Theo would like to take a look at the handbook and figure out the job, ranking system, if there's any particular type of trick to it or what
All
exactly the deal is. You can make sure that they're interpreting the board correctly.
All right. The quick rundown of the job board says that in general, the more complicated jobs are closer to the desk, and the easier jobs are closer to the front door. So as you get closer to the desk, you end up with, and all of this is there. So if you ever need to reference back to it, it's all right there in the handbook. Pay doesn't necessarily correlate to the difficulty at all times. Some of the more difficult jobs may not have the best pay, but that includes tasks like, oh, hey, this family was wiped out by trolls, and they would, they can't pay much, but they'd really like you to wipe out some trolls, and that's kind of, there's some rapport that goes with that. So there's not a direct correlation there.
So Theo plays that little bit of information for the group as they're standing there watching.
All right, so the jobs that are listed closer to the door.
It's all narrated in that voice.
Yeah, I love it. That's beautiful.
You also,
help
as you play
whoever
it,
is rooming with Theo tonight, because it's just going to be that all night.
Or we'll
so
burn
you
that
press the thing to
so
play, and no one else hears it but you.
Oh, okay.
You're like,
so
hey,
it's
watch
by the
this, and
door.
you push the thing, and you're hearing it in your head, and they're all just kind of like looking at you.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Thank goodness for Theo's roommate, whoever it's going to be. All right. So Theo says, all right. So it looks like complicated jobs are close to the desk. Easy jobs are close to the door. The amount of money for them doesn't really mean much. So maybe we should look for something that's kind of easy, but it'll take us out of town, just to start with.
Real quick, City of Golden Spires. What landmark is that near?
It is
The-
near
the
the
point of splattering.
let me pull it up. I don't have my whole world map up here. City of Golden Spires. It is near the Gates of Trade, which is a large stone kind of just that stands out kind of by itself. Like there's an oblong valley that kind of ends where some of the more industrial mining activity is. And then at the other end where it opens up, there is a large, just massive stone that's kind of, you can't really climb it easily. It's rather sheer on the sides. And that's, the two places there are considered the Gates of Trade. That is the large, notable landmark.
Okay.
So it's, gosh, I have to pull up. I didn't pull up that map. One moment.
Near the pointy spine.
I don't think it's by the point. It's the opposite side of the pointy spine. There's a marsh in between. So there's a ridge of mountains on the right near the
Rounded
what are they
Crowns.
friggin' called? Yes, Rounded Crowns. There it is. That's the one.
Okay.
It's in the Rounded Crowns. It's on the south side of the Rounded Crowns, southeast side of the Rounded Crowns. And there's a marsh that kind of goes through the middle, and there's another set of mountains on the other side. So Clore and Theo had to move through the marshes in order to get here. You came from the south.
Right. Okay. So I'm scanning the board for anything that takes us east.
You're scanning the board.
I
West.
meant
You want
west. West.
west.
East.
So you're looking
The
for
other
stuff that
side-
takes you
On the other
by
side
the
of
industrial mining. Okay.
Yeah, west of town.
Hey,
All
that'd
right.
be close to where Smokey was last seen. Cool.
Yeah.
2.5 years ago.
Heck
You
yeah.
never know.
Not necessarily
Yes.
related to the cat. I just
We're gonna totally discover what happened to this cat.
Some cats show
I'm
up,
not there, so-
years after disappearing.
Yep. You never know.
All right. So, between the three of you who are studying the job board, you find a couple of things that kind of stand out. The first one is there appears to have been she's marked as a lady. Lady Eris was killed by what appears to be some ghoulish creature in the hills just west of town. That one is marked as 2 silver level of pay. Another one is marking for please investigate the large monster that appears to be eating fishermen's boats within the marshes. So that's east of town. There is another one that's closer to the door. Wiles, a painter, his wife is looking for evidence of his whereabouts after he left on the west side of town. And then
I'm
the
taking 2 birds with 1 stone.
and then the last one is the Furrier's Fellowship.
What?
Is yes, the Furrier's
I don't want to do
Fellowship.
anything with some
We're
furries.
bringing furries?
I haven't even finished off what the job is. The Furrier's Fellowship is looking for assistance in collecting a debt.
From who? The fur makers?
Left my golf clubs in my other bag.
There is not a name, but there is a description of the individual.
Is it the goblin from the...
Hey
It's
Theo, what does what does the handbook say about accepting multiple jobs at once?
DM, what does it say about accepting multiple jobs at once?
do you want the fast description or do you want the
Yes.
flavor
She paid for
description?
he paid for the audiobook.
Do you want the
No,
audiobook
I
description?
paid for the audiobook. Give me the audiobook description, DM.
All right,
You're
so
right. I paid 2 copper for that.
claiming a job. When you claim a job from the job board, you must take your pendant that marks your rank and tap it to the job. It registers you as a potential receiver of the completion of this job. You have several weeks to complete said job, or you will be removed from said roster of people who can claim the completion of this job. Only under extreme circumstances or jobs that are very clearly not in this region will there be extensions beyond the normal 3 to 6 weeks, marked by the number of ticks in the top right-hand corner of the job. You may claim any number of jobs at any given point in time. However, no 2 people can claim a job unless they are intentionally partying together and may have a party bond with their tags. A party bond is made when you tap your tags together, and that will create a temporary party bond.
Huh. That's
All
really
right.
interesting.
So,
It sounds
Theo,
like you can take any number of jobs.
okay. Well, there's 2 over here that take us west. I think we could knock out 2 birds with 1 stone, or is it 2 scones with 1 bird? Well,
I think
someone's
the
getting
idiom
knocked
is
out.
right. I agree. So the jobs that take us west, then that's the cat, right? And the
There,
missing painter.
No, it's
there's the cat, the missing
ghoul.
painter, and the woman who appears to have been attacked by some sort of ghoulish creature.
All right. Okay. I'm not very good at numbers, but I'm counting at least 3 in that direction.
I don't know if the cat's gonna be there, but we can look. While
Doesn't
we're
matter,
there.
right? We might as well. One time, one of the old ladies in the town nearby where I'm from, she lost her cat for a number of years. Turned out it had wandered off into the fields nearby, got into the forest, wandered around. It basically became feral. But about 10 years down the road, someone found it. It was very, very old. Must have been 17 or 18 at the time. Was still alive. It was not in very good condition, but the cat was still there, and she
That's
recognized it
great.
on sight.
That's a cool cat. So we're headed west.
Yeah,
Theo, as you're
I
describing
don't see
that
why not.
story, you suddenly feel a breathing, like just next to your
Huh?
ear.
He looks over his shoulder.
That's a very fun story you just described. I had a cat once,
Oh,
and
God.
it also went feral after I went on an adventure for a few months. And it's an elderly man, and he's got scars kind of all over his face. His hair kind of like parted by a scar, but his armor is some of the most ornate, thick, proper, like adamantine. It has glowing inscriptions that appear to be all sorts of magical elements. And for a guy who is talking softly like this, he is standing like perfectly straight and carrying a huge freaking glaive.
Nice.
Yeah, Theo's like automatically like in on it. Just says, "Really? Nice to meet you, by the way. My name's Theo Bayless. I'm a new guild member.
Nice to meet you. I hope you
Might I
don't
ask your
die
name?
within a year.
Try not to."
My name? Oh, I go by many names, and right now, most people call me Crimson Scythe because of the blood that is poured from the wounds of my scythe. And
Well,
my
Mr.
party,
Scythe.
my party back over there, they're all great people. They are the Crimson Fighters. They all have names based on the crimson. And you can see in the corner, roughly in where he's gesturing, there's a table of other very elderly looking people, all just like very slowly shakily drinking from their tankards, and like one of them is trying to like scoop up peas on their fork, and they're just. That's
You know what?
okay.
Be a better day.
Mr.
They're a
Scythe,
spellcaster. It's fine.
I'm awfully glad to have met you and your group. It looks like you're pretty well experienced. Got any advice for a new adventurer?
Don't get killed.
I will try my best, sir.
If you make it past the first year, that's a good sign. That's a really good sign.
Well, you know what? A year from now, how about no matter where I am, I come back here, and once I
I'll
make
buy
it a
you a
year, I'll let you
drink.
know what I
I'll
learned.
buy you a drink. If you make it a year and you make it back here, I'll buy you a drink.
All right, and Mr. Scythe, if I happen to drop out before then, if
It's
it's
good
not
to
due
see
to death,
you. And he just kind of just starts walking away while you're talking to him.
I'll buy you one. And Theo waves after him. All right, so we look for the cat just on the off chance that we find it. We take the job looking for Lady Eris and why she died. And for the missing painter, which when you think about it, like ain't that kind of suspicious that two folks had gone, one was killed and another one went missing kind of in the same area?
I bet the painter did it. That's why he's on the run.
You know, you never know. I mean, it's a possibility. So I think we'll take these jobs. What do you think?
Takes us
I'm-
west.
Let's go.
All right, and Theo's gonna tap his guild token to those 3 jobs.
And as you do, you feel it kind of gets warm in your hand each time, and the inscription
Ooh.
kind of lights up a little bit. And yeah, you have put a claim on each of those jobs.
That's a very odd feeling.
The music
All right, well,
swells.
now that we got those jobs, how about we go meet up with the rest of our group? We still gotta find socks and a journal.
One second. Okay. There we go. So you're gonna go now look for socks and a journal.
Yep.
All right.
Decent socks made by somebody who knows what they're doing.
Not far, like from
Oh,
the
and,
entrance. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. As they're heading out, Theo's gonna kind of stop me and say, "But guys, for what it's worth, the next job that we take, let's look for something headed south, okay?
South? Why south?
Because that's where Clore wants to go, and he was nice enough to stop by and let me sign up, even though he doesn't like crowds. And to be honest with you, I don't want to inconvenience him and take him too far out of his way. He's already put himself out an awful lot. So
Okay.
maybe we make quick work of these jobs since they're so close nearby, and then we start heading south.
Okay. And of course, you know it's not going to be quick work. Nothing ever is quick.
Well, you know, you never know. Our group might work so well together that we find a way to resolve this issue fairly swiftly.
It's possible.
Who knows? I mean, anyway, I appreciate it. We'll finish this up and then we'll start heading south. I think. All right, and sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. You're good. As you head out, you can kind of see after some of this time, like some of the hustle and bustle on the streets is starting to die down a little bit. And you can see that there are more shops if you head further down this particular street that you haven't seen or gone to yet, or you can head back kind of sort of the way you came.
Hey, Pin and Clore. Nice to meet you.
fine.
See you again. We found 3 jobs. One is looking for a missing cat that went missing near the mines, I think, sort of to the west. Then something about a lady who was killed by a ghoulish creature in the same area, and a local painter went missing, and his wife was looking for him. And the last place where he was definitely seen was in that direction as well. So we figured we could. Oh gosh,
this
kill
all one-
3 birds.
Is this all one
No.
bounty? Oh.
Actually, it's 3 separate jobs. Turns out you can accept as many as you want at one time. You just can't have more than one person working on a job unless they're joined up as a party. It's something called a party bond. Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know what any of that means, but it sounds like we have 3 opportunities to make money. So
Let's go make some money.
cool. Didn't know we could do that.
They're all in the same area. So thank you for
Sounds
waiting.
great.
I really appreciate it. And after we're done here, done to the west, we're gonna head our way south.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. That'd be great.
Yeah. But first, before we head out, we gotta find socks and a journal and prepare for the journey.
Yeah, Bob, I got a question for you, man.
Yes, please.
Did you get blisters? Like, how do you not have socks?
I have them. They just suck.
Okay.
They're just worn out, and which is why I'm looking for new ones because wool does wear out eventually.
Hey, Bob, listen, man. You don't got to explain it to me. I socks. Yep. Let's do it.
Yep. That's all I'm really interested in. I'm a simple guy. Got simple tastes.
All right. So, sock hunting.
We're socks.
What type of are you looking specifically for another clothier shop, or are you looking for more like a general store? What type of place are you trying to peruse for next?
Whatever it looks like it's going to get me in and out the fastest with some decent woolen socks.
All right.
So if it looks like a store that might have them, that's what we're looking for.
Do you want to keep going down this street that you haven't gone down, or do you want to go back the way you came and kind of head back towards like the more
We didn't
what's it
have any
called?
luck that direction. Let's continue going down the one that we don't
All right.
know.
I'm
Okay.
gonna grab the first person that I don't know next to me and say, and look so confused, like I've never spoken to another human being in my entire life. And Flora's just gonna go, socks, socks, socks.
And
I
the
love it.
first person you stop is like this woman like with her child in arms, and she's like just walks away.
Poor lady.
Next person in line. Next person walking by. Socks,
Socks.
socks. And then I get eager, like, oh, socks, socks.
And the next guy just kind of like looks past you. Is he all right? Is this guy all right? Let's see.
And while he looks confused, I'm just gonna completely drop the act and be like, I don't know, I can't find socks. Let's just keep walking.
Oh, General, three shops down on the right. Can't miss it.
Oh, hey,
They
Bob.
got-
3 shops that way. Thanks,
All
buddy.
right, cool. Let's go. Let's make this happen.
Pop on in. There's a
Yeah,
little.
let's get Bob his socks.
As the door opens, you hear a ding 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 as the door knocks into the little bell, and behind the desk there appears to be a rather surly looking dwarf, male dwarf.
Okay.
Okay, get you shopping for you.
We're looking for woolen socks.
Calling them clothes and stuff. Warm.
So we head back to that direction. Poke around. See any?
There is an assortment of very general clothes, mostly like plain leather, some that are more just like very basic, not necessarily the finest count of thread cloth, and then there are some woolen socks of varying thicknesses and sizes.
I'm going to pick out 3 sets that look like they're going to be a good match, and that's what we're here to buy.
All right.
I told you that a place that catered to the practical folk would be the best place to find your socks.
Absolutely.
So
Much
so
better
these
than
socks
that.
do have a very slight, appearance of where, there might be where the heel goes, as opposed to the woolen tube socks that you were, hawked before, that were being hawked at you before.
Right.
These appear to be slightly thinner though, than the other ones.
You know what? That's okay. As long
Alright.
as they look like they're decently made and they're not overly priced.
It looks like it's, 1 copper per pair of socks.
Sweet.
Woo!
Oh,
Mission accomplished. Let's go buy these.
Big a
Yeah,
pair of
yeah.
socks.
No, yeah, just socks.
That'll do it.
No, it's 3.
Alrighty. And I'll whip out 3 coppers and I will pay the kind man.
Alright, and he gives you a very, toothy grin, and you see he's, missing teeth. And takes the copper and chomps on one of them, and you can see it, bends slightly. And slides you the socks, and a small writ, and it has, very precise, very, printer-like, description of 3 socks, almost perfect Times New Roman font. And he
Interesting.
just slides it over to you. Come back if you need anything. And he takes a
Good
big
deal.
swig from a flask that he had hid behind the desk and just. Theo, you wanted a
Excellent.
notebook too, didn't you?
Yes, please. Theo needs to find a notebook and something to write with.
And we're now looking for a notebook.
All 3. 3.
Oh, three doors.
no.
Which
Here, aisle 3.
here? Aisle 3. Got it.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir. I appreciate
over
it.
there. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah, Theo's gonna go find the biggest notebook that he can and something to write with. Something that's not gonna run out. Like a pencil, basically, if he can.
So yeah, you can find yourself what appears to be a wrapped piece of a charcoal writing utensil. Seems to be wrapped in a very crude paper. It's smooth on the outside, but you can kind of look down and see it's not the smoothest material all the way around. And then you find a notebook that has it's about yay big. It's like a 5x7, but it's got 20 some odd pages. It's kind of the largest. The rest are just kind of free floating sheets, some of varying sizes. It's more like people adding to existing notebooks than it is so much starting from scratch.
Okay, so Theo's gonna get some loose paper, and he's gonna get the journal, and the pencil. And he looks overjoyed when he finds this.
Starts counting on his fingers. Silver 3 copper.
Sorry, DM, I'm having a bit of trouble understanding. Was that 1 silver and 3 copper? So I understand.
1 silver, 3 copper. 1 silver, 3 copper.
1 silver, 3 copper. Got it.
I mean, you gotta-
Theo's good.
It's part of the world, man. You just gotta follow along.
You gotta roll with it.
You know. All right. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. So Theo pays up and thanks the totally soused dwarf very kindly.
You also
And
get
just looks
a
very,
writ
very
that
happy.
you also get a writ that seems to be again almost perfectly, and you can see that he wrote it himself. It's just did all the little flares on the end of the little letters and everything. He went all out just to write out this whole thing
Aw.
perfect printer precision.
Beautiful.
And so you've grabbed the notebook, 20 pages. You grab another 10 sheets of paper, and you have the writing utensil.
Yes. Good. Perfect.
From now on,
Thank you.
I'm gonna call this the scribe shop. The drunken
right.
scribe. That's what it is.
Yeah, I like that.
Drunken scribe. All right. Assuming he can even, remember that that's what his shop's going to be called.
Well, he doesn't know. That's just what I'm calling.
That's fair. All right, so you now have a notebook. We are now finally, after 3 sessions, the proud owners of a notebook and some fresh socks.
I
And
feel like
new
we have
pants.
completely-
Dope ass pants.
Yes.
The
Yes.
half-eaten churro.
You haven't
Yes.
finished that churro.
It was huge. It was like
Mm.
the size of my arm.
Theo has
Same for
joined
me.
the Adventurers
Like
Guild,
Cornerstone.
has grabbed 3 tasks, and honestly, I think this is a good spot to wrap up for tonight. I think this is a good stopping point. We have your tasks ahead of you, you have your supplies in hand, and really the rest of the day. You're only about midday, so you guys have the rest of the day
Yeah.
ahead of you.
Perfect. Well, thank you, DM. That was fun.
Thank
as
you guys for
always.
playing. I'm glad that we're back, and I'm we're
Good
getting
lord.
some stuff in motion.
We're getting stuff.
Finally.
We have gotten past
Don't
the
worry, it's only
holidays.
going up from here.
Are you
It's
sure we
going
didn't-
somewhere. Or it's
Are
going
you sure we
somewhere.
didn't level up?
It's going west.
Oh, I am positive you have not leveled up.
I lit dead bodies on fire, DM.
You have somehow managed to skirt
Lose
around
experience.
all sorts of things that you should not have been able to skirt yourself around, and here we are. So unfortunately,
Things got
or
lit on fire,
fortunately,
so that's all I care.
we are still
We are amazing.
enjoying level 1, but you'll get there. I promise. I'm not holding it back from you.
TPK.
Don't you dare.
No, I really don't want to do that.
I don't know, those guards were walking at us, and I really thought about trying to light one of them on fire. But
When he picked me up, I was like, "Whoa, what happened if I just stabbed him?" I have a dagger. Just like,
wonderful, I'm
ha
sure.
I
You would
would've
have been
Uh,
best friends.
Gosh,
I
that would
gave
have
him a
led
little
to
Eldritch
some
blast, a little tickle.
tickle.
All right, well, thank you, DM. That was very fun.
Yes. So, pending any craziness, we're shooting for next week for a session 4 of Naturally
back-to-back
One. Thank you
action?
guys for joining, and we'll see you guys next Tuesday. As for other
Next
regular
Saturday.
streams, we'll be here Friday hopefully, and yeah, you guys have a great night, and thank you guys for playing.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Enjoy.
See you guys.
It's bedtime.